Look at the walls of Pompeii. That's what got the internet started. Ladies, gentlemen, and variations thereupon, this is modern escapism. Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Oodles. If I could change the world, I'd force everyone to pay for this. Joining me today, if she could change the world, she'd make wine a tax write-off. It's Candy.
Hello. And it really should be.
If he could change the world, he'd make horse punching an international sport. It's Gadget.
Fucking horses, they're bad people.
Also, if he could change the world, we'd all be wrestling for survival. It's Stig.
Oh yeah, I'd win.
You made a crisps, man.
And Biggie, unfortunately, can't be joining us today because he's at the royal coronation. Isn't he the crown bearer or something like that? He's doing something.
I think he's.
He puts the hat on the man.
Oh, was that Biggie? I thought
That was Biggie.
I thought he was Biggie. That wizard that was running across.
That's what I say.
But in his place, we have a very special guest. The indie podcast scene's new husband, it's Rob Jones.
Woo!
Hello, thank you very much.
Woo.
Who is my indie podcast wife then?
Plenty.
Ooh.
He's everyone's wife.
Yeah, plenty. He's a bit on the side. How are you,
He's a
Rob?
lovely, lovely man, so there you go. I'm very well, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It was short notice and I'm happy to jump in, so I'm glad to be here.
Excellent. Jump in, the water's warm, mate. Ooh, it's good. So, on this episode, we will be chatting about moments that changed the world, mainly media-related and stuff like that. We also have the Nexus coming up. But before we do that, we usually get Biggie to do the news, but in his place, we've got someone just as special. It's time for Biggie's Breaking News, featuring Candy.
You may already know, but he doesn't, because it's time for Biggie's Breaking News.
Now this is a story all about how the news got flipped and upside down. I had to think of that quick.
Well done.
I thought it was quite good.
Yeah.
Right then, gaming news.
Ooh.
Redfall, poor launch, tests Xbox fans' patience, but more on that later.
Oh yes.
Oh, is it
See-
that like?
It's
CS:GO.
yeah, it's not been well
Yeah.
received, has it?
Not
Not
it.
so much. Not so much. CS:GO map has a secret room full of news stories banned by Russia. So not so secret anymore. News. It's a way of them kind of filtering these censored news stories into Russia, where they're not allowed to watch the news. Well, they are allowed to watch the news, but it's
I think it's
highly
dead
edited.
clever.
Yeah,
It's super clever.
Yeah, it's very specifically about the Ukraine war. Like it's not just any news. It's it's the stuff that Russian media definitely censors.
People saying, we don't support it at all. We just exist here.
Yeah.
Bless them.
Mm.
It's awful. Next.
Destiny 2's annual Guardian Games month-long event kicked off earlier this week, ushering a little more friendly competition between the three classes, Hunters, Titans and Warlocks. So it came as quite a surprise when Bungie deployed an in-game message to all players that declared Warlocks had won. Warlocks won Guardian Games 2023, the message stated. Warlocks win. Warlocks earned the most medallions and won this year's games. Visit the tower for the closing ceremony. Given that the event isn't scheduled to the end until the 23rd of May, however, players were quick to question the announcement, prompting Bungie to issue the following statement on social media. We're aware that an in-game message announcing the winner of the Guardian Games was sent out erroneously, the studio said. Is that how you say it, erroneously?
Erroneously.
I'm gonna keep that. I'm keeping that in my dictionary. Erroneously. Guardian Games still have 2 weeks left, and the winning class has not been officially announced yet.
Now, this is going to come out, like, I don't play Destiny anymore for years, but if the Warlocks do win now legitimately, they're going to say it was a fix all along. If they don't win, they're going to say that they didn't win because they got it wrong and it was fixed all along. This is the Ouroboros, the snake biting the snake. They're not going to win. They're not going to win from this, are they, at all?
Can I just ask here, and I feel like possibly some others on the podcast, what the fuck is the Guardian Games? None of that explained what it actually is.
It's the Hunger Games.
It's got to be some
Think.
tournament they do yearly, hasn't it?
I'm pretty sure they did something like that when I played it, where the best class won. And this is talking like Destiny Year 1 when I played it then, which is what, 5 years ago? Something like that. It feels like 5 years ago.
No,
No, it's Destiny 1.
Destiny 2 came out 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh!
Remember Oodles, timed flat circle. You don't get it. It's fine.
You play Destiny, Rob?
When we get to the Nexus, you'll get a bit of an idea about my gaming experience. So,
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. I picked that as a no. Next.
No.
First babies.
Come on, Candy.
Sorry.
Come on.
I was
Biggie's
reading the
never used to
actual
getting
news.
it wrong like this.
I was reading the actual news story because I don't know much about it, even though I posted it. First babies conceived using PlayStation-controlled robot are born. The two baby girls are the first to be born from a robot fertilization. So I'm just reading in the news article here.
What?
A Spanish startup has managed to use a sperm-injecting robot to fertilize human eggs, successfully resulting in the birth of 2 healthy babies. Engineers with no experience in fertility medicine used a Sony PlayStation 5 controller to get the robotic needle to fertilize more than a dozen eggs. So it looks like they've got the image, like a microscopic image up on a TV screen, and they are using the PlayStation controller
What
to
if the batteries run out?
plug it in, surely.
Has it got the adaptive
boy-
triggers going or the vibration stuff going back?
Yeah.
It's like Death Stranding. You hear it crying through the controller.
We've just been organising my boy's work experience, and he's going to a place where they make robots and they get on Unity to program everything. So I'm just wondering if that's going to be what he's going to be doing, is the next round of in vitro fertilization. So
Make sure he saves the game often.
Is it?
Yes.
If this is going to be a thing going forward, is like, do you do job interviews by like showing off your Fortnite skills? Like, do you send a CV with like all your no school?
Looks like I'm going to be jobless for the rest of my life.
Well, only if you want to get.
I had
into
a
this
job
field,
interview
you
I had a job interview on Friday and had to do a PowerPoint. That's the first time I've ever done one of them. So
Oh god, it's like 90% of my job.
It
Horrible.
depends though, Idles, because if doing it is based on, like, say, Dark Souls skills, like rolling the stuff, inseminating by rolling and this and that way, and
I'll be CEO in no time.
striking at the right point. Yeah, exactly.
Do you think it'll be on Games Done Fast?
Speedrunning insemination.
Glitchless pregnancy percent.
Trust me. I can speedrun insemination, and it doesn't have to be artificial either. Trust me, I've got them skills. I am ready to disappoint. Next.
Film and TV. Pedro Pascal joins Ridley Scott's Gladiator sequel.
Sorry, Predro.
She's got
Like a predator.
She just got
To not-
flustered by saying his name. All it takes is saying his name.
Literally. Come out in a sweat.
It just sounds like a Godzilla baddie. It's Predero.
Predator Pascal.
Yeah, it's an evil version of Pedro. It's his evil twin of Predator Pascal.
I'd just like to tell, like, if you hadn't noticed, and I'm going to tell the listeners as well, I've had an absolute mare just before we started recording. I spilt like an entire bottle of wine across myself, and I haven't quite recovered yet. So I'm a little bit all over the place.
She's just magnumed herself. Big style.
Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. So he joins Ridley Scott's Gladiator sequel at Paramount. And I don't think he originally wrote a sequel where it was Gladiator in Heaven, didn't he?
It's not that. It's separate characters.
Please, God, let it not be that.
It's definitely not that.
I kind of would have
Come on.
liked to have Maximus in heaven, though. That would have been pretty funny.
People are saying,
It
oh,
would be
yeah, this is
shite,
going to be
but-
good. Just remember, all the last Ridley Scott films we've had recently, come on, can't be good. It can't be good. That man doesn't know how to do it anymore.
I think it
I thought the last
focuses
duel
on...
was meant to be
Joaquin
quite
Phoenix.
good. That's what I heard.
Which one?
The Last Duel? Is it Last Duel?
I've never heard
I
of
didn't
it.
think that much of it.
yeah, but Affleck was in it.
probably
and
great
Affleck's
then.
Bomb,
Affleck is the bomb, especially in Phantoms. Oh.
especially in Phantom. There you go.
Next, Candy,
Next.
come on, read the room. Fucking hell.
Sylvester Stallone is set to return. I normally do the next myself. So Sylvester Stallone is set to return for a sequel to the 1993 action thriller Cliffhanger.
This is stupid.
Another legacy sequel no one asked for.
With
I don't know, because I moved to where I live for the rock climbing, so I'm quite interested in Cliffhanger 2.
If you remember, though, with Cliffhanger, didn't do very well in saving people, innit? He's not a very good rock climber.
No,
Yeah.
no, many people fell. Including himself on 3 separate occasions.
Yeah, so it's not someone to aspire to
If you
be.
want it, I've got some background behind the first Cliffhanger screenplay.
Yes,
Please.
yes.
So, Cliffhanger 1, it's all... there's a plane hijacking, they still try to steal some money, it ends up on a mountain, they can't go and get it.
Is it John
The
Lithgow?
original Yeah, that's right. But the original screenplay was written by a guy called Ron Kauk, who was a Yosemite-based rock climber. And back in the 70s, this plane crash-landed up in the mountains in a lake. And when the boys went to go and check it out, and the climbers could get there faster than the rangers because they went straight up. So they got there first and found this plane full of marijuana.
Nice.
It was absolutely jam-packed full of weed. So they basically dug it out. So by the time the authorities got there, because it's the middle of the winter, all the weed had gone. But all this weed so then the climbers were then going into like San Francisco or around the park selling this weed to visitors. But the weed was actually soaked in aircraft fuel, petroleum, petrol.
Oh shit! So we're killing people.
So no, but people were just like, there'd be explosions in tents, like a big. Well, not that big, but so anyway, so Ron Kauk writes his screenplay based on that. It goes to the studios in Hollywood, and they
went to Stallone and
bastardized it, and they bastardized it so much.
Yeah, we got what we got.
Cliffhanger. You don't get the weed plane anymore.
That's a shame.
But you can hear about the weed plane on a podcast called Dope Lake, which came out last year.
That's
and it's very good. Yeah.
Excellent.
So, there you go. Carry on.
Check that out. Next.
Find it weird how scripts go from like this one idea to something completely.
I tell you how it does that. As soon as Sylvester Stallone gets attached, he goes, "We're changing that.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the hero. I don't smoke weed."
You should watch that sitcom that Matt LeBlanc did, Episodes, because that has that, because of the whole setup is like Stephen Mangan and Tamsin Greig are the writers of some like really beloved British sitcom. It gets adapted in America, and Matt LeBlanc becomes the star of it for some inexplicable reason. But it goes through the bastardization of like this like feisty sitcom to then being like about a baseball coach.
So, wow, just completely changes.
So, but you actually do kind of get an insight into how that bastardization works, and it's always money men going, well, maybe we could do this. It would be more profitable if we did all that kind of thing. Very funny show as well. Everyone should watch that.
I do. Next.
Writers' strike. As the WGA strike starts to have an impact, late night shows go dark and writers' rooms pause, with the industry playing a game of wait and see. So yeah, if you haven't heard, the writers have decided to strike, haven't they? As of a few days ago,
right.
I think.
I'm so sad that late night shows aren't running. I'm so sad.
Oh, wait and see. Just fucking pay them, and then then you'll be fine. You'll be back to normal, and your shows will have a problem.
The Duffer Brothers have already said that season 5 of Stranger Things will be delayed because of it.
Oh, is it a proper full-on writer's strike like last time?
Yeah, like the last one. Yeah.
I thought that was already written and ready to go.
Yeah, but they said they're not going to film it because you don't stop writing at the point of.
No, you support the guild, don't you?
Right.
Yeah. So basically, it was supposed to be being filmed next month, I think, and they've basically just shut down.
Yeah. Good, because we need a rest because there's so many films coming out.
Although it's
the last time we had a writer's strike, we ended up with Quantum of Solace and season 2 of Heroes, didn't we?
Oh, we did. Yeah, we did. Oh, do we deserve that? Maybe we do.
I think we probably do. State of the place.
Yeah, exactly. Next.
There has been a official trailer for Dune Part 2.
Oh, yes.
You mean June?
No, I mean Dune.
Part 2. Dune. Fucking Dune.
What do we all
I'm not
think?
watching
I'm
this
not a big
trailer.
fan.
I'm not watching this trailer. I didn't watch the first trailer.
It's very good.
I know the plot,
Sting in it.
so I know the characters. I've read the books, you know what I mean?
Wheels, man. Florence Pugh as Princess Irulan.
Excuse me?
Yes, Florence Pugh as Princess Irulan.
All right. I might get that trailer a what?
The interest is peaked.
Also, Austin Butler is bald as Fade Rother.
Yeah, I was going to say it's interesting. They've made him look more like Raban and Thingy, haven't they? Rather than
which is akin to the book, isn't it?
No,
no.
No, he had hair, didn't he? They had hair. They all had ginger hair, didn't they?
Yeah, all the Harkonnens had red hair in the book.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's they've tried to give it a much more authoritarian look and just given them all the bold look.
Space Nazis look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus also all the Atreides have fabulous hair, so it's a nice juxtaposition.
Exactly. The hairless versus the hair.
Yeah,
I
all
get
people
it.
are bad.
It's like my life. All people are bad. We all know this.
Did I see Florence Pugh had a crew cut? Was she? Did I see that?
Oh,
right?
she has
done.
Yeah.
Completely wrong about that.
No,
She has. She now.
Real life, yeah.
Yeah, she rocks it.
She could be bald, and I won't be bothered. I'm telling you.
No, she looks great, man. She looks really good.
Exactly. National treasure. Next.
Carl Urban is Johnny Cage in the next Mortal Kombat movie. Mortal Kombat 2 films this summer.
This is ridiculous.
You might not want to say next that quickly because the next story is Cheeto's origin movie, Flamin' Hot. Really?
Next. What the fuck?
Hey, we just go back to the Mortal Kombat story first.
Oh, if you want.
At least if I pulled in a big star here that might actually make them make a decent
come on.
film.
Isn't Carl Urban going to be too old to play Johnny Cage?
Yes.
Go play an older
Saying
Johnny
that
Cage.
in the
Johnny
later
Cage,
Mortal Kombat,
yeah, Johnny Cage gets old.
He's a general, isn't he? He's really old.
Fair enough.
In the lore of Mortal Kombat, Gadget, you're not paying attention to the story.
In the lore of Mortal Kombat, people actually age. It's a wild concept, but
it's wild. It's wild.
Funny that.
It's wild.
The thing is, Carl Urban is just now entirely Billy Butcher for me. I can't see him as anything else, and I'm just going to expect that accent.
Yeah, but the accent's it's fucking terrible. I love Billy Butcher, but it's fucking terrible.
I know, but like if I watch anything where he's he's doing an American accent, it feels wrong to us now.
Yeah, his best accent is like
his own, but still
his own. Yeah, his own. No, no. I did like him as in Star Trek. I liked him in that.
I'm
a doctor.
That's his generic American accent, isn't it?
Yeah, but it works. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm not bothered about this fucking shite. Come on,
you'll still watch it.
I'll still watch it.
Right, you can't blame me for this. This is Biggie's fault. Marvel has shut down pre-production on Blade and will continue whenever the writers' strike concludes. Should have been put next to the writers' strike one,
no,
didn't it?
There's literally 3 writers' strike stories in there, and he didn't put any of them together by the sounds of it.
He's on holiday. We'll forgive him.
No, never forgive, never forget.
No, because if it was he was here, he'd still do the same.
Also, Blade is absolutely cursed.
Yeah,
it really
film's
is, isn't
never
it?
fucking happening, is
No,
it?
I know.
You know, like the original Blade and Blade 2, Blade 3 had a bit of problems, but those first
bits of problems.
They just came out. They just done and came out within space of like a year.
Yeah, they were made.
They're just done. Yeah, they were made, and
someone wrote them,
films.
someone filmed them, someone released them, and it worked.
Especially Blade 2. Such a good film.
One of them had a Bros in it, didn't it?
All over the place.
Yeah, Blade 2 had Bros in it. Not all of Bros.
But this
50% of Bros.
Half of Bros.
Was getting rewritten because Mahershala Ali didn't like the script and didn't like the fact that there was like fuck all action in it.
Yeah, but Wesley Snipes didn't like the script in the third one. That's why he speaks about 4 times.
Yeah, but that's like but the fact that it's gone away to be rewritten and now it can't be rewritten because of the writer's strike. Still,
could have been done.
Didn't it also get like shit canned and rewritten once before that because Kevin Feige didn't like the direction it was going in or something like that?
He said it didn't. It was something to do with the correlation of the universe. It's just not. It's not what he wants. It's not his vision. Which lately is not a very good one.
More on that later.
More on that later.
This Star Wars Day, Carrie Fisher honoured with star on Hollywood Walk of Fame. In a fitting tribute to Carrie Fisher, who played Princess and General Leia Organa in the original and sequel Star Wars trilogies, family, friends, and fans gathered in Hollywood Thursday morning to unveil Fisher's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Her daughter, Billie Lourd, who accepted the honour in her mother's absence, wore a gown featuring Leia in her most iconic look, the princess and rebel fighter with 2 space buns from Star Wars A New Hope, and glittery makeup that paid homage to Fisher's penchant to tossing glitter at fans during convention meet and greets.
Yeah.
I think it's
beautiful, this story. Love this story. You didn't know she threw glitter on people?
No, I'd love to
be.
I'd love to be.
She used to have it in her pocket.
No, I didn't know that. When I saw the original clip,
people.
when I saw the original clip, I thought she was scattering some ashes.
Yeah, that's good.
Aw.
Yeah.
I think it's honouring
it's
such
nice.
a great person, a troubled person, but just a great
I liked
person.
how
in
her
history.
her daughter said when she was growing up, she was very anti-Star Wars. Kind of the probably one of those things. Just like, I'm not really that bothered, or
Yeah.
it's too much. Everyone's obsessed with Star Wars, so I see it all the time. I'm not bothered about the films. And she said since her mum passed away, she's gone actually rewatch them and fallen in love with them, and now she's made sure that her kids watch it. And she said,
I mean, she's probably fallen in love with 3 of the films.
she's like, but she's saying that like I can sit there now and say to my kids, "That's my mummy," and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
like,
Aw.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
yeah,
It's also
think-
really
I hate
sweet
that.
how lovely a relationship she has with Mark Hamill, because he's
Yeah.
like an uncle to her.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
all around good guy, isn't he?
Lovely lad.
Yeah, Hamill seems like he'll live and die just a goodie. You know what I mean? Which is rare in
Yeah.
Hollywood nowadays.
He was looking good as well, I thought, when he was on the.
He's always looked good.
Yeah,
He's
to
always
be
looked
fair.
good, Hamill.
I think the most shocking thing about that story is that she didn't already have a star.
Yeah.
Sure, she did.
I think they've got to pay their own. I think they've got to pay for it themselves, haven't they?
No, it has to be fun. I know this because I know the people that did Robert Downey
you've got one.
Jr.'s one.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
because I've got one. I
Oh,
funded
wait.
it myself. No, it's they have to. It has to be paid for and funded by fans, and they have to have at least 30,000 people that want it and
Right.
raise a certain amount. But it can't be funded by the stars themselves.
Because then, because it's like someone like Elon Musk could just do it, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Just to be
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Next.
Sorry, someone's shouting outside. Stop shouting,
Yeah. You,
strangers.
you shout at them to stop shouting. I'll tell them.
Right.
Brick for your window next.
And I'm so aggressive as well. Stop shouting, boys.
Get off my lawn. Right.
I don't have a lot.
Get off me gravel.
Moving on. I don't know why this is here. Australia to ban recreational vaping in major public health moves.
I
Why
put
is
it in.
this here? It's-
The government
Next.
says vaping has become a huge epidemic, particularly affecting young people.
Next.
Oh well.
And I'm young.
Fuck off. Are you?
I'm young. I am. Keep vaping alive. By the way, this is 0%.
I'm always picking
so-
up I'm always picking the bloody disposable things up in the park. 'Cause I work in the parks over in Weymouth, so I'm always like just clearing up after them. The kids go down and just
I wouldn't dare
the
litter.
amount of rubbish it creates.
I think
I'm
You're very-
29
you're a
years
very
old.
good
I can
man.
vape what I want.
you're 35. Shut up. The
ban disposable ones.
yeah, definitely ban disposable ones. They're just contributing to e-waste. And
Mhm.
those what are those watermelon pen things? The ones that look like lipsticks that the kids seem to have.
Yeah.
Well, the
Also,
highlighters, the highlighter pen ones.
I found out just how much and how long it takes for a cigarette wood to decompose this week.
Long time, innit?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Full of little microplastics and stuff in. See?
Yeah, and fiberglass and stuff. all
See?
sorts of
Oh,
nasty
God.
stuff.
Told you, stop smoking them.
Stop smoking them.
I heard that
guys.
this week. Where did you hear that? I heard the same thing this week.
On Football Ramble, it was on advert.
That might have been it. Yeah,
If it's on podcast adverts, it's probably gone on a few.
yeah,
hasn't it?
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
not ours.
Well,
Anyway.
just don't forget back in the 1950s, where I think it was Virginia Slims they claimed they had the best filter in the world because it was asbestos.
Yeah. And no one died.
Yikes.
That super safe chemical to get into your lungs, asbestos.
And nobody died. And there's still schools in Yorkshire that still got asbestos roofs. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. We kept it up. Leave it up. It's good.
Half of West Yorkshire is
Next.
built with asbestos.
Yeah, the ground we
Asbestos
walk on
bricks.
is asbestos.
And finally, news from the Weird World Web. Joasia Zakrajewski, ultra runner who
Nailed it.
Nailed
done that,
it.
Please
he's
don't
done that
have
on
a go at
purpose.
that.
Nailed it. to the
He's
fucking
done that
wall.
on purpose, hasn't he? He's found
Yes.
something with a really hard name to fuck one of us
That
He's
was
over.
it.
got you there, I tell you.
That was fluent, that was perfect.
Joasia Z, ultra runner who used a car, says she made massive error. A top ultra marathon runner
Using a car.
using a car. Top ultra marathon runner who was disqualified from a race from using a car. Says she made a massive error accepting the trophy for third place. Joe Z said her actions were not malicious, and the incident was caused by miscommunication. Dr. from Dumfries took part in the...
Sorry, I love how our name is done 3 different ways in the first 3 sentences of this article.
Hang on,
Well,
is
apparently
this
she's a doctor
whole
now.
whole thing? Is this whole thing translated and retranslated on Google Translate from 500 different languages? Because none of it has made sense so far. I don't know what's happening.
Well, in the third sentence, she's introduced by... she's a doctor,
I don't even know who she
guess.
is.
No, it's just a random woman. She's not famous.
No, I mean, I don't know what the story is. He said someone was doing a marathon and then they got
And
in a
took
car.
a car, yeah.
He used a car and got found out.
So Dr. Z from
so I
Dumfries
saw
took
this.
part...
Oh, you saw it? Do you want to spread some more light on it, please, Rob?
Tell us,
Some
please.
English.
So, I ain't right. I'm not going to have a go at the name,
Okay.
but so she was taking part in an ultra marathon, which is anything more than a marathon, really. So I think this one was like 50 miles or something.
Yeah, it was Manchester to Liverpool.
She wasn't feeling very well.
Mm.
Yeah, so she wasn't feeling very well, and she was doing shit in the race, and then someone gave her a lift further up the track, and she jumped out and ran on.
Oh, I expected nobody to see her.
And then so she finished third, grabbed a medal, and then when they analysed the GPS tag data,
She got really
they were
fast
like,
at one
how
point.
come you don't? Well, yeah, how did you do a mile and a half in 6 minutes? Or, when everyone else is taking...
You were running 70
12
miles per
minutes or
hour at
whatever
one
it was,
point.
like-
So the real
Yeah.
story is that she says she was ill, in inverted commas, because she got found
Yeah,
out
really.
clearly, because
Yeah.
she still accepted the medal,
Mm.
and it wasn't until someone analysed the data that she was like, oh no, I was ill and I shouldn't have accepted, sorry. So she's more sorry that she got caught.
Oh, absolutely.
Everyone's you're only sorry when you get caught, mate.
It
Yeah.
says she was tired
That's
and
life.
jet lagged and felt sick.
I mean, I'd feel sick after running 50 miles.
It's not very fair
Or
because there's
in her case,
can't
47
run
and
one.
a half.
those ultra marathons. They're a real like proper community, and people take it really seriously.
they
There's
do.
people over in America. They'll do like 250-mile races. Like people like Courtney DeWalter, who's just like a machine. She like beat all the blokes in this one race by about 12 hours over 250 miles. So to just jump in a car and not give a shit is a bit
It's disrespectful more than anything,
move,
isn't it?
really, isn't it?
Mm.
Mm.
Yep.
Well, it says here, she
They should
said,
throw the book at her.
it says here, when I got to the checkpoint, I told them I was pulling out of the race, I think, and that I'd been in the car, and they said,
It's just how you had to preface it. Pulling out of the race, I think.
yeah, but when you're driving,
It's you that's got dirty mind, nobody else.
I wasn't even being dirty. I was thinking, I'm pulling out. You say that when you're in a car, don't you? I'm pulling out. Just
I
can you look?
I thought you meant.
Yeah, I know what
So
you
it's you
know,
that's got the dirty mind noodles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to pull out in a car. It's all cramped and it's hard to move around.
When you can't be bothered to check your left side, you get to the passenger to say, you get your passenger to look
no.
and say, I'm pulling out. Can you check for me?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh God.
they said you will hate yourself if you stop. Also referring to the race. Dr. Z said, I agree to carry on in a non-competitive way. Again, the race.
But she took the medal. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yes.
I made sure I didn't overtake the runner in front when I saw her, as I didn't want to interfere with her race. When she... Who's fucking with the sheet? When she crossed the line, she was given a medal and a third-place wooden trophy and posed for pictures.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If she just wanted to carry on the race just for herself and not be competitive in it, she could have just said, I'm just running this rest of this to see end of it. I'm not... I cheated. But if she's gone up and took a medal, dick. That's how I see it.
She could have been like one of those dudes in the banana suit that take 4 days to do the London Marathon just because they want to finish it.
I think
Exactly.
Yeah, I
And
think,
get a
yeah,
little certificate.
the fact that she made it third place, it's not like she made it the middle of the fucking pack.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
like,
fuck it.
She's like, if I'm first and second, that's a bit too obvious. I'll sneak in third.
Make him that wooden cup.
I just think we don't like cheats because what does cheating get you? Nowhere except the House of Lords.
Psh. Excellent. Is that the news, kind of? You did it with aplomb.
Yes, that's it.
Excellent. Let's move on to the Nexus. And I'm going to give Candy a little rest here. Stig, what you've been up to this week, buddy?
This week, I've gone to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So this is...
Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. This is James Gunn's last writing and directing job for Marvel before he heads over to DC. And obviously it stars the usual Guardians. They're back again. Spoiler alert for Endgame and everything. This takes place after that. It's basically it follows the team after Gamora's death. We have obviously new Gamora. Shut up. And it's about the team and Star-Lord dealing with that. The film also introduces Chukwudi Iwuji as the High Evolutionary, and Will Poulter as Adam Warlock, and Maria Bakalova as Cosmo, the dog.
Oh, so it's a girl for Cosmo. That's cool.
Yes.
Cool.
So yeah, this primarily kind of is more Rocket's story than anything. If you've seen the trailers, you'll probably kind of get that feeling from it. We get a lot of backstory about Rocket. We can find out where he came from and how he became to be, and a talking, walking, sentient raccoon.
He's not a raccoon.
He's a raccoon, though, isn't he? But you do find out about why. Throughout the last two films and everything, anytime anyone's ever tried to bring up what happened to him and how he's like he is, he's always shut it down, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And we found out a lot about kind of why that happened. Anyway, this is really good.
Yeah.
A really, really good Marvel film. Hasn't been a really good one since
that's words we haven't heard in a while.
Since Spider-Man.
95 years.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think James Gunn has just I've always liked the Guardians. I really like Guardians 1. I really like Guardians 2. I know some people don't get on with it, but I just like the characters and the world that James Gunn creates. Like this, like the others, this one, it's full of heart. There's a lot of emotion, laughs. There's a lot of really good action scenes. There's a great action scene in a corridor later on in the film, which is just brilliant. Really well, shot really well. Like the music to it's fantastic. And
is it lots of 70s and 80s music as usual?
Yeah, it's typical James Gunn. It's basically the last two films. You know what you're getting.
Needle drops every 2 minutes.
Yeah, but it's good. It's good music at least.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see how much this was pushing the boundaries of a 12A for a Marvel film with the imagery and swearing in this. Can you remember?
Didn't have the first MCU fuck?
Well, I wasn't going to spoil it, but you just did.
Oh, sorry. I just knew that anyway.
But not everybody will. Not everyone is.
Oh, I've spread the word. Spoiler alert, the word fuck is uttered.
Yes, but
I don't know. By
I didn't know that, and it was a really nice surprise when it was said, and I was like, huh? So yeah, I was going to say this has done something the MCU has never done before, and leave it at that. But
there you go, guys.
Oodles went full Dean there on us and just dropped a spoiler in.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, but the imagery and stuff, it's not even that, not just that swearing, but you remember in the first Guardians where he calls them ear-holes. He doesn't even say arsehole, does he? He calls them ear-holes. And you're no one says ear-holes. This just doesn't care. Everyone's a dick. Everyone's an arsehole. Everyone's a prick. They're not.
Do you think this is just showing how society is in general now? Because I noticed that in a lot of things. They will say dick and prick and piss quite often in 12s and stuff like that. I reckon it's just people are just not as uptight anymore.
I'm not really uptight. I don't like my kids swearing, but they hear it, so
yeah, mine do because of the mum.
Well, they hear it on stuff, even kids' YouTube stuff comes out with it, and
yeah.
But anyway, there's some really gory moments in it, and it's definitely, if you don't like animals in peril, then it's a really tough film to watch. Because, like I say, this is a backstory on Rocket and the experiments that were done on him. So there's a lot of stuff in that, and
if it's I'm not going to spoil it anymore because I'm not seeing this film. But if it's anything like the book's origins, there's a few animals in it.
Yeah, it's quite brutal, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just really good. It's just really fun, really bright, and like I said, this team together, they vibe off each other really well. Karen Gillan is just great as Nebula as usual, and I've not really noticed this, but she doesn't get enough praise because she's an absolute standout for the first time we see her as Nebula.
I like her voice, mate.
All the way through the films and through...
She talks like this.
Yeah, Avengers and everything. She's always been consistent and really good.
Yeah.
And the evolution from where she is in Guardians to where they are at the end of this. Like each of the characters gets like a moment in this. Like it's the film completely comes full circle for everyone, and it's really everyone kind of gets their own thing, and like their arc has moved along, and it's really good. It's a really good send off for him. Will Poulter as Adam Warlock doesn't really get enough to do. He isn't like the Adam Warlock you saw if you played the recent game. He's not this kind of. He is strong and powerful, but he's very.
Is he thick, Adam Warlock?
Yes, he's mature. He's immature.
It's my favourite one. Where he's just a kid.
Yeah, he's a kid, and there's a reason why he is like he is, and it's explained in the film.
Yeah, that's my favourite one. That's good. I'm glad they've gone that direction.
Chukwudi Iwuji,
yep,
as a High Evolutionary, is one of the best MCU bad guys I think we've ever had.
Good.
I think he is outstanding. He's a brilliant actor. If you saw him in Peacemaker, he was fantastic in that. But in this, he is an evil bastard, and he portrays an evil person like so well. Like the stuff that he will go to just get the next evolution in, push evolution and push the boundaries of creation and stuff. Like and it's there on screen and it's shown on screen, and that's what I said about like the horror and the gore being pushed. This is like James Gunn trauma like kind of stuff, but in a 12A, he's pushing that boundary. And the High Evolutionary, what he does in this film and what he's showing he's capable of doing is like it's all there to be seen, and he's fantastic. Like he is really, really good. But yeah, as a trilogy, I've really loved it. I can see the flaws in 2, like I said, but I really liked it. It does play on your emotional manipulation at times.
They do, though, don't they?
They're going to do that, especially with it being like kind of the last outing of this iteration of the Guardians. And I just think if anyone had any issues with James Gunn taking over DC and writing and directing Superman, don't. Because
I think we're gonna be all right.
Yeah, if he can bring the heart and joy and humor that he brings to these films into that, then we might actually have a good Superman who isn't mopey and cryy and beiged in fucking.
I was hoping that James Gunn would have had Squirrel Girl, but it's not gonna happen now, is it?
No, but he does feel like he uses Cosmo really well. Like that was.
Yeah.
And there's a great kind of scene for Kraglin as well, because he's obviously from the last film,
love Kraglin.
He's taken on like the mantle that's
Isn't that his brother in real life as well?
Yeah,
I think it's James Gunn's brother, isn't it?
Yeah, Sean Gunn. Yeah. He's taken on like Yondu's like kind of mantle as the leader, hasn't he, and stuff. So
yeah, Ravagers.
Yeah, really good. I really, really enjoyed it. It's like up there in my probably top MCU films.
Excellent. Gadget, what you been up to?
Okay, strap in. I have a missive. Because well, this week I've been sick and I've been in a bad mood, and so on Thursday I decided, let's perk my mood up. Let's have a look on Game Pass, and look, there's a game I've been looking forward to. It's just dropped. What do I play? I fucking played Redfall, and I was even angrier.
What's that about?
Well, so Redfall is an open world, quote unquote, immersive sim. I'll get to that. From Arcane Austin, creators of such wonderful games as Dishonored and Prey.
Love Prey.
Some absolute banging classics. Previously to this, their worst game was Arx Fatalis, and that was still pretty good.
Did they do that?
Yeah, they did. Arx Fatalis was their first game.
I know that.
This is god awful. It's really, really fucking bad.
You mean the critics were right?
The critics were absolutely bang fucking on. So I played this for about 2 hours and had to then tear myself off it because I was about to snap my Xbox controller in half because I was getting really pissed off with it.
They're quite hollow as well.
They are quite hollow and very light. Like, it wouldn't take much to snap one, and I was getting dangerously close to a plastic creak. So the whole run of this game is it's a 4-player co-op immersive sim / first-person shooter, where you are in the Pacific Northwest town of Redfall, which has been sealed off from the rest of the world by vampires, because vampires are a thing in this game. It's not Pacific Northwest, it's Massachusetts. Ignore me on that one.
Oh,
but
so it's definitely not.
definitely
It's
not.
definitely not the
Other side of the country.
Northeast.
Yeah. So the premise, according to Wikipedia, after a failed scientific experiment, a legion of vampires invaded the isolated town from the outside world. Trapped inside Redfall, players must choose among 4 unique survivors: a cryptozoologist, inventor, a telekinetic student, a combat engineer, and a supernatural former US military special forces sniper veteran to slay their enemies, vampire and human collaborators alike.
This has got to be good.
No. It's fucking not. It's so upsetting.
This keeps happening to you, mate.
I know,
All the ones
right?
you look forward to. Can you stop saying you're looking forward to games, please?
Get excited about games and they come out and they're shite. It's really fucking disappointing. So, okay. So I've tried to boil my thoughts down to this one so it doesn't get into just an unhinged rant. Basically, if you play it, like your immediate feeling is like it feels like Deathloop to move around and play. Like it's that level of first person shootery.
That's fine movement.
Yeah, fine movement. You don't have any of the kind of like the acrobatic stuff that like Colt could do in that game. But anyway, yeah. So you start off on the ship, you kind of work your way out of it, and you kind of work towards the town of Redfall. Now the problem is, so they kind of advertise this as being like an immersive sim or having immersive sim aspects to it. It doesn't. Everything has a prescribed. Every locked door has a precise key that you need to get through. Whereas in like
it
a
doesn't
game
have
like
your code that you loved.
Nope. Or at least I hadn't found it by the time I got out. The whole thing with an immersive sim, or with actually most of Arcane's output, has been that, you know, you can do anything the way you want to. You know, if you can work out a path through a level, do it that way.
A locked door doesn't mean a locked door, does it, in those games?
No, in this day, it's a fucking locked door. There is one route through everything. I will say I like its art style. Its art style is very pretty. It's that kind of chunky Arcane style. Everyone's got massive fucking hands for some reason. But the problem,
long arms as well.
The long arms, yeah. The problem boils down to the design of the game. The game doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And I'm not talking about technical stuff. Like, I had a couple of bugs and glitches, but I don't really care about that kind of thing. They were just like frame hitches or texture pop.
You did play Chernobyl, didn't you? You love a bit of jank.
I saw a screenshot of some people on our Discord who were playing it, and Tig was just literally in the floor, moving around in the floor. So.
Yeah, that's a power. That's a power that it's got.
So, in the opening couple of hours of play, so the first kind of thing you have to do is you go to this fire station, and that's going to be like your base of operations, but you got to clear the vampires out of there. You've also got to get rid of these kind of cultists that worship the vampires as well. So you'd think, right, this is my first big combat encounter. I've got a building I can do with what I want. I can be sneaky, or I can be shooty, or I can have a blend of the both. And I have to clear it all out. When you get inside the fire station, there are 2 human enemies and 1 vampire. That's it.
Oh, God. How could you get by them?
So you go upstairs, you kill those 2, and then you get the shotgun, and then you go to the basement and kill the kind of first boss monster. First boss monster took 3 shots to kill.
Maybe you're just really good at games, mate.
I was playing it on hard. I would have expected them to be slightly bullet spongy.
Okay.
We then get to the kind of proper opening cutscene, because this is kind of where like a lot of the story gets developed. Except it's not a cutscene; it's a fucking slideshow. There's not a single animated cutscene in this game. No shots of people talking to each other. It's just static images that are kind of that are on different layers, kind of moving across each other, and that's it. The graphics, when you actually get into the game, like the art style I like. However, the graphics would look great for the Xbox 360, not the Xbox Series X.
Oh dear.
No, it doesn't run. As we all know, it doesn't run at 60 frames a second. It also doesn't run at 4K, so I'm not even getting like pretty mode out of it. Just 1080p 30. It's like, yeah, great last gen performance. The guns are unsatisfying as fuck to shoot. It runs on a very similar system to Destiny, where you just pick up random weapons, and some of the numbers are higher than other numbers.
We no reason. Just
no reason. I did the opening four main missions. They all consisted of go to these 2 places, kill everything, come back. The next one consisted of go get this key, come back. Go kill that thing, come back, and then go kill that thing and come back. That was the run of the mission design. The characters aren't interesting at all. They are constantly spouting internal monologue at you while you're going through the world. And it's not good internal monologue. Like the actors have done as good a job as they can with the dialogue, but it's just too constant and it's shit, quite frankly. There is hardly any enemies in the map. I walked from one side of the map to the other. It took about 10 minutes. And I had 2 combat encounters.
Infested by vampires.
Yeah, no, fuck all. The vampires themselves, when they attack you in the open world, if you find a car, walk to the other side of the car, and they will just kind of keep jumping up against the car.
Do they do it with chairs as well?
Do it with chairs.
Chairs.
They're not capable of understanding a ledge. If you climb up a ledge, the vampire will not be able to get to you until it teleports.
That is one of vampire's weaknesses in mythology, though. We all know this. Ledges.
Oh yeah, raised surfaces.
Yeah, they don't like them.
If you want to blow up
garlic.
Yeah. If you want to blow up a car, you just shoot its windows out and it will catch fire.
Don't they all have identical oil spillages underneath them as well?
All of them, yep.
Love it. It's like PS2.
If you go into an area where vampires have been and there are dead bodies, you will usually find the same 3 or 4 dead bodies around there. They're just copy-pasted.
I saw your video of that. Like, you literally moved from one body, then turned around and went back to another body. It's like, it's the same body with the same layout,
same skin,
the same blood,
pose.
Same pose.
It's a big family.
No, yeah. It's absolutely pathetic. The story is absolute bobbins. It's all scientific experiment, conspiracies, the army's coming, it's a private military, yada, 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 yada. All that kind of thing. The gunplay isn't fun. The enemy AI is hilariously bad. So when I was going to one of the missions, I had a sniper rifle, and I came across a group of the human cultists, and I thought, okay, let's snipe them, because there's 6 of them, there's 1 of me, I don't want to get into it, I just can't be arsed. So there was 2 having a conversation with each other, and I sniped one of them, and the other one kept talking. Didn't notice that the person he was talking to had been killed.
Nice.
So I was not far away from them and managed to snipe all 6 down without being spotted. Without a silencer on my gun. It's shit. It's quite frankly a waste of 70 gig on your Xbox.
10 out of 10 then, yeah?
No, actually, Oodles, this one will piss you off because I know you like a skill tree, right?
I do love a skill tree.
Okay, so you can level up your skills through this. So there's one of the characters who he's supposed to be a stealthy guy, and he's got a raven pal, best bird boy.
His name's Stealth McTavish or something like that.
Something stupid. Basically, but the whole point of the bird is he directs the bird off and it'll fly into a building and it'll mark all the enemies, right?
Like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, great for stealth because then you can kind of scuttle through a place.
Yeah.
And then you know where everything is. The first upgrade for the bird is for the bird to be able to do damage. But if the bird does damage, it puts all the enemies on alert, which means you ruin your ability.
There's no stealth anymore.
There's no stealth. So it's like all the upgrades have these weird contradictory features. Like there is the psychic girl who I also who is the one I was playing as. She has a biotic shield kind of thing that she can put up. But then you can't do anything else when you've got that up. You can't shoot. You move slower. So all you're really doing is delaying death. So. Because you can fire it forward and it will do damage, but in like a really short range. So it's just like none of it makes sense, and like it's really fucking disappointing that this is Arcane. Because Prey is one of my favorite games of all time. That was incredible. But this is take away all the various little technical issues with it,
which can get ironed out.
Like there's not enough updates that will make this a good game because this game has been conceived badly.
It's not just a patch that can fix it.
It was delayed by about 6 months, wasn't it? So even,
what have they done with that 6 months?
Exactly. So you think even with like
wanking
a couple more years of delays, it probably wouldn't have saved it.
No, it's like this needs to go back to the original design doc and fix it. Because
Xbox crushing the game.
The annoying thing is, I can see the kernels of a great game here. Like the concept is brilliant. The whole idea of this kind of 4-player drop-in, drop-out co-op, dealing with vampires, sneaking around.
Should be brilliant, shouldn't it?
It should be brilliant. Like it doesn't even really nail that kind of 80s horror vibe that it's going for. Like, when you look at the artwork and the text and all that, like it looks like it's aiming for like kind of mid-80s, slightly horror comedy kind of romp kind of
It
film.
could have been Lost Boys, the end of Lost Boys, the game. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. It could have been
Or
like
Fright
that.
Night or something.
But it's not even kitschy enough to get away with that. So, nah. Even though it's on Game Pass, avoid it as hard as you physically can.
Put a score on it. The people want to know.
I would say this is a 3 or a 4 out of 10. Like this is rough. It gets that high simply because it turns on and you can physically play it.
Yeah, and you respect the devs. They get a point for that.
Yeah, but it's not worth your time at all.
There you go, listener.
I don't know if it's better when you
Redfall in your life.
Yeah. I don't know if it's better if you play it with people. I've just played it.
It's probably
myself.
worse.
But it's probably got some real shit neck code. But this is kind of 3 for 3 with Bethesda on big multiplayer titles being broken.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to that Starfield and that Elder Scrolls, baby. Yeah,
Doesn't bode well, does it?
it's gonna be shite.
Do you know? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Starfield gets another delay after this because the Xbox.
5 years.
Xbox need a win.
Xbox really need a win, and they need to
Go
make
win.
the
Just
money
Doodles
back.
is salty about it.
They need to make the money back on that Bethesda
one out of the
purchase.
past 4 is not very good, is it?
So yeah,
bother. Excellent. Don't bother. Rob, you've been doing, pal.
Well, games-wise, I'm the wrong person to have on this show, really. So if you're ready for the gaming equivalent of Old Man Jones Points at Traffic, we can go with that.
We're ready for it.
So should we call it console history, computer history?
Yes.
So I started off with the ZX Spectrum, the one with the built-in tape drive.
Classic.
I then graduated to a Sega Master System.
My first console.
Excellent. I had a Commodore Amiga for a while. That was amazing. That's where I'd done most of my gaming, to be fair. I dabbled with a Nintendo 64. And then I picked up an Xbox 360 in about 2011. And that lasted me until about 3 years ago when that died. And then last year I bought the kids a Switch. So that's pretty much where I am.
At least you got the best console.
Well,
Switch.
this is it. So
a Steam Deck there.
I got the kids. I got the kids Hollow Knight for the Switch last month on your recommendation.
The kids,
but I haven't really played
the kids
it yet.
kicking off as well. It's too hard.
They do like it. No, they really like it. I had a cheeky half hour on it last night.
Did you get lost?
Like from what you're saying, it looks brilliant, and the sound on it is it's really
It's
really
flawless,
good.
that game.
Oh, I'm looking forward to finding some time to get into it. I have also downloaded. Is it Return to Monkey Island?
yes,
Because I really love Secret of
it's
Monkey
very
Island.
good.
It is really good.
Is it? So I'm kind of saving it. I might even save it for the winter when we've got a bit more time
Yeah.
to like sit down and play through it all together as a family. I think that'd be quite cool because I
It'd
really
be good for a
enjoyed.
family, that. Yeah, I think it'd be a nice game to play together.
I really enjoyed Secret Monkey Island and the Chuck's Revenge.
They're all
They were
good.
just like, mate, on the Amiga, the Chuck's Revenge came with 13 floppy disks.
I know.
So,
It's ridiculous.
There you go. So there's that, and other than calling my kids cocksucker while playing Mario Kart, the main thing I've been playing is that port of Goldenye on the N64 emulator thing on the Switch.
Did any of us do that?
Me and
Yeah,
Candy
we-
played the Xbox version.
Yeah, not the emulator.
Did you? But isn't the Switch version supposed to be better, but the Xbox version... No, one of them's better, but one of them's better for a different reason as well. I know there's two different...
Sure, the
Yeah,
Xbox
completely two
version
different
was
versions.
better.
Yeah, because it's got better controls, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I haven't got that option. So the controls on this one are all a bit janky,
The original ones.
but it's just, proper nostalgia. I got on it and it took me about an hour to get through the first level because I was just trying to work out what buttons were doing what because there's no guide for you to do it. And then, I'm like 5 or 6 missions in now and I'm absolutely loving it again. It's like I'm 17 all over again.
Isn't it like notoriously quite difficult on some levels, that game?
Oh, yeah.
Like if you set a full alarm or something, you got to start again and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what is weird is how, like, because it's got to be 20 years since I last played it, but how quickly that memory of, I've got to go here and then do that and then do this again.
Yeah.
So,
I got that.
yeah. And the kids are really loving it. They're like, I haven't let them have a go yet because fuck them, But, yeah,
Earned
it's just,
it.
yeah. So yeah, I'm really enjoying GoldenEye. Like it's like I'm 18 all over again.
Yeah,
It's
And-
quite
and
fun to
I've
just jump back on and play. Like,
yeah, one of my pals is he was the 64 kid, I was the PlayStation kid, and he recently been playing the GoldenEye, but he's been playing it on his Xbox, and they redid all the controls for the Xbox version. I think it's
Right.
that one, and he says, "Oh, it's still really good." And it's a game that I played when I was younger, but I never really liked it. I liked multiplayer, which is rare for me because I don't like multiplayer at all. But I liked.
Yeah, we're going to try that out, and
Mm.
yeah, we're going to try out the multiplayer, see how annoying it is. But I was going to ask you guys for some recommendations for like a first-person shooter on the Switch that I can just sort of like pick up and dip in and out of. That I don't need to sit for 4 hours to get into it.
I've
That's
been
a
playing
big
one
ask,
recently because I was on Deadbeat Punk's podcast. It's on the Switch. It's not for the kids. Bulletstorm. I don't know if anyone else has played that.
Right.
Put Bulletstorm on the Switch.
Yeah, it's a Duke Nukem edition, so you play as Duke Nukem.
nice. Doom.
Doom, yeah. Both Dooms are on Switch, aren't they?
Yeah.
In fact, I think every Doom that's ever existed is on Switch.
It is.
Wolfenstein games are on there as well.
Wolfenstein, yeah.
Bioshock.
Is that
BioShock.
ports of the original ones? Is it, or is that
No, the new ones.
The new ones, the
Right.
good
The ones from the last like decade. Yeah,
Yeah,
both Dooms
right.
and Wolfensteins.
BioShock's a good shout if you like a bit more cerebral first-person
Right.
shooting, something you have to think about. I really struggled with that game at first, but I got my head around it eventually and finished it on Switch.
I enjoyed
good,
the
looks good.
I enjoyed the on the Xbox 360. I did enjoy like the Rainbow Six games,
I don't think there is
Tom
many of
Clancy
those
ones.
tactical ones. Is there on Switch?
No. You
See
get
what's
the
on here.
get the original Quake if you want to go for some boomer shooting.
Bioshock. Bioshock
As like
Collection.
Bioshock, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought you guys would be the people to ask. That's all. So
I
I'll
know.
make a
I
list
genuinely
of
don't
those.
think there's any tactical shooters on Switch. I'm probably completely wrong, but I don't think there is.
Oh, not really a shooter, but Portal 2 is essential. Get the Portal collection.
Yeah.
yeah, get Portal. Yeah, they run fantastically on Switch as well.
First-person puzzle games, they're incredible.
Yeah, that's one that you can play with family. And sometimes it helps to have
See,
someone else watching you with that game to help you.
Yeah, because I started playing Portal
I do like
the other
games.
day and I was like, I can't figure it. I was playing that new one with like the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
And I was,
That's a
I was
headache,
like-
that one.
I can't figure this out. I'm like,
Yeah.
if I move that, but then I do that, then
Yeah.
that puts the platform down. I was like, I don't know. I just gave up. I haven't gone back since.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky.
I do like games. I do like sitting and playing games. But since the kids have got, it's funny. Since they've got older, I find I've had less time to actually sit
Should
and
be
play
the
stuff.
opposite.
So like, it should be. You would have thought, but like when the kids were little and my wife was breastfeeding, she'll be off doing that, and like
Yeah.
I've got no company, so I can just sit and like the first Red Dead Redemption on the 360. I love
Smashed
that.
it.
That was
Yeah, it's
and
great.
I just sat, just went for a wander picking flowers and shit. Like,
And now you've got to play Pokemon trading card game with them every day, haven't you?
that's it, which is amazing.
I'll
So
tell you a great one to play with a family. If you've got 4 controllers,
yeah.
it's Super Natty Cat recommended it on here. It's Lovers in a Dangerous Space Time.
Oh, it's crazy.
That's a great game for family because you've got to work. You're on a little spaceship. You've got to work together. Like one
Work together.
one
keep it
person
active
mans a
and
gun, the other person mans the map, and the other one works switches to turn like stuff on and off like that. So you've got to kind of work together, and it's really good fun.
Yeah. It's like
The other
how
thing I
when
do
you
is,
first start Monopoly and it starts off everyone's having a good time and it doesn't end up
Yeah, because you're just like shoot there. It's like you right,
And then you
you're
get
just like right. I'm gonna
divorced
do
and stuff.
when you play in 3-player, like when we play 3-player, it's like okay, well, one of us is gonna have to man 2 things here now. So I was like,
Two
right,
things.
right, I'm gonna do this. You 2 do that. It's like
There was that other game called Brothers. I saw it. It was like
Brothers,
cheap
Tale
to
of Two
download,
Sons.
so-
It's good.
yeah, and I thought, I heard someone else talking about that, and it was like on the download thing of like £7 or something. So I
It's,
thought, well,
it's great.
excellent
I'll
game.
have that.
It's great.
So
you
I
can play
own
it on
it,
your
but I
own. You
haven't
can play it on
got-
your own or you can play it with
Yeah.
somebody else.
Right, I own it. I haven't fired it up yet. It's just
really good,
for
that.
time. So, like I said, wrong person
Excellent.
for this show, really. But
No, don't be daft. Candy, what you been doing this week?
Well, I won't spend too long on it because it's not exactly cutting edge, but I finally started watching Better Call Saul. And I started watching it actually like when it first came out after I watched Breaking Bad, and I think that was probably the wrong way to do it for me personally, because I was expecting Breaking Bad Part 2, and it just isn't. Like, going into it and realising
better.
it's kind of, I can't, it's been too long since I watched Breaking Bad that I can't really compare the two, especially not at this point, because I'm just towards the end of the first season. But I think if you look at it more as a comedy than a comedy drama, I think it's much easier to kind of digest. But yeah, really enjoying it. Like I said, I won't get into it because everyone's probably already seen it by now.
It's if you're expecting Breaking Bad Part 2, it comes. Don't worry.
Nice, nice.
It gets there.
But yeah, I've been really enjoying that as a kind of just watching the background thing. I've done something else, but I think everyone's going to jump on it at some point later. I think, Stig, you have done the same thing in Gadget. No, and Noodles.
Yes, and me, yes. Probably not Rob, he's got no time. And he's disappeared. So I'll quickly do the single thing I've done this week. That, again, being really negative, I watched the film Ghosted this week.
Oh, I've been desperate to hear what you had to say about this.
So, a film that stars Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Adrian Brody, Anthony Mackie, John Cho, Sebastian Stan, and Ryan Reynolds. How can that fail?
How can it fail, Oodles?
It fucking does. It fucking does. So hard. I think it's directed by Dexter Fletcher, who did he did a bit of Bohemian Rhapsody and stuff, didn't he? And a few other things.
Eddie the Eagle.
Eddie the Eagle,
That's good.
He's good. He's good at what he does. I don't know where he was for this film. Fucking hell, this is absolute shite. Like, how can two of the best looking people on the planet have no sexual chemistry whatsoever?
And also, do you know what makes no sense?
Me and my wife say that all the time.
Hey!
I'm sorry, but someone like Chris Evans does not have trouble finding a date.
He is stunning. I mean, everyone in this film's gorgeous, and it's
The setup, the setup's just shit in it.
I'll give you the premise. Chris Evans is a farmer, right? Living with his mum and dad, and he bumps into Ana de Armas, and she buys a plant off him. I'm not joking. This is what she happens. She buys a plant off him, and she says, "Oh, I'm away most of the time." And he's like, "I'm not selling you this plant, then, because I love plants that much." And she's like, "Oh," he goes, "Take this cactus instead, because you don't have to water it as much." And then they have an argument. She says, "Your salesmanship's terrible." Turns out it's not even his cactus stall. Blah, blah, blah. And then he runs after her and says, "Do you fancy a drink?" And she's like, "Yeah, let's have a drink." They go on a date round Washington. They end up shagging. She ghosts him. Big style. He's back at home. He's like, "Oh, she's ghosted me." And do you know what his family recommend he should do? Because basically, he's left his inhaler, his asthma inhaler with her, and it's got a tile on it. You know, one of them tiles, or an Apple tag or whatever. It's an Apple TV film, so it's all Apple-based stuff.
Right, yeah.
AirTag. And he'll say, "Oh, I'll find out where my inhaler is. It's in London. It's in her bag." And his family say, "Why don't you go and meet her in London?" That won't be creepy. She's not been answering his texts or anything. That won't be creepy. Go and meet her in London. So this all happens right at the beginning. He goes meet her in London. Turns out she's an international super spy.
Of
And
course.
he gets embroiled in this big conspiracy. People think he's the super spy, but it turns out she's the super spy. And he's like, "I'm not supposed to be here." That kind of thing. I'm Chris Evans. Even though I'm ripped and I look massive, I can't fight. That kind of thing. Honest to God, he's fucking shite. He's so bad. And then you've got Adrian Brody as the baddie. He's probably the best thing in it, because he is usually the best thing in things. Anthony Mackie's in it, John Cho, Sebastian Stan, Ryan Reynolds. They're in it for 2 minutes each. And it's
Oodles
just...
spoiling more things.
I don't care. I'm saving people. Have you seen it, Stig?
Oh, fuck.
Oh, right. Well, they're in it for 2 minutes. It's shite. It's a fucking bad film. It's got no payoff. It's just beautiful people being shit.
Also, love from your description, it's failed. If the product placement has failed the concept, because
You can't use AirTags in a different country, can you?
No, not even that. An AirTag will inform someone if it's on them for like more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, but if you live in Washington, you can't AirTag somebody in London, can you?
Yeah,
Surely
but it takes
not.
more than 20. It takes more than 20 minutes. Like she would have been told that she had the AirTag on her.
Yeah.
It would have popped up on her phone that says there is an AirTag.
And she's a super spy, so she
Airtel.
should have noticed. It's just bad. It's just bad. There's a few twists and turns in it. You can see the twist coming a mile off. It's just absolutely shocking. There's like the set pieces are like, which is weird because she was really good in Bond, wasn't she? As like a little Miss Bond. She was really good, and that's what she is in this. But she's there's no chemistry whatsoever. Shite. It's really bad. And it's
Is it on Apple, is it?
It's on Apple, and the reason I watched Ghosted is because I watched 2 episodes of something else we're all going to discuss beforehand.
Yeah.
The show Silo. Take it away, Gadget.
Oh my god! So Silo is, if everyone remembers, to the heady times of last year. I'm aware everyone's had a lot of drinks between then and now, but I reviewed Hugh Howey's Silo Saga. I went through all 3 of the books, and I fucking loved them. They were the favorite books I read last year. And yeah, Apple made it into a TV series. It's fucking brilliant. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Everyone
realizes the Silo
Yeah.
really well. I think I said before when we watched the trailer originally, it didn't look like how I imagined the Silo. I always imagined it being a bit more industrial for whatever reason, but when they go into the lower parts of the Silo, that's where it gets industrial. I was like, oh yeah, this is exactly how I imagined it. The casting is brilliant. The acting in it is great.
So for the cast, we've got Rebecca Ferguson playing Jules, Will Patton playing Mons, Tim Robbins playing Bernard. Who else we got there? David Oyelowo? Why can't I never get his name right?
We've got Common.
Hello. Oh, God, you got me.
Common's in it.
Yeah. So he's playing Halston. Common is playing Sims. It's a fucking standout cast, and they are firing on all cylinders as well. They're all really fucking good.
I've got Umbridge. I don't like Rebecca Ferguson in this.
Oh, I think she's good as that.
Whereas, have you read the books?
Nope.
Whereas I think she's perfectly cast.
Yeah,
she's how I imagined Jules. Like,
I haven't seen that much of her
literally.
yet, though. Obviously, she appeared at the very end of the first episode, and she only had 1 episode to herself, so she might grow. Again, I don't love this yet, but this is someone that's coming. I've not read the books. I know nothing about it, apart from what Gadget told me, that they're in a silo and outside's dangerous, blah, blah, blah. I know that much. So I watched it, I was like, I watched the first episode, and I was like, I'll watch the second episode. And after the second episode, I was like, I'll continue. I'll probably watch the third one. I don't love it yet. That's all I'm saying. But I don't know the world, do I?
Yeah, no, fair enough. But just for reference, if you do read the book or listen to the book, Rebecca Ferguson is playing it spot on for Jules. Like,
I'm not her biggest fan in general. I don't hate her or anything like that. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think she's not that good an actor in my head. You know what I mean? I've not seen her that much. I know she's in Greatest Showman and stuff like that, and June, but she's never best thing that she's in. But if you guys say she's, I've not seen Mission Impossible.
Well, I'm just saying, telling you so much she's good in.
Yeah. If you guys think she's really good for that character, I believe you. I just don't know that character. Do you know what I mean?
The production design
she's pretty.
The production design is spot on. I love like the little details, like the little computers and CRT monitors that they have kicking about. I love the recycled and reused look of everything. Which is because
the guys running about with their metal cages on the back.
They're porters, so that's basically your postman to get stuff up and down the different levels of the silo.
That's why they're always running.
Yeah, that's just literally their jobs, ferrying stuff from
silos are
up,
like
down, up, down.
Huge. Like
it might get explained further on, but maybe it won't. But you can say nothing on it. But they keep saying like the upper levels and the lower level. Is there an upper level that's like the top level of like Snowpiercer, where they're all like in suits and
no. So where the mayor is and where the sheriff station is and where
they're
the
upper level.
That's the upper. The mids are the where most people live,
and then with the cafeteria.
Well, they have cafeterias all the way up and down it, but like most of the time you see the cafeteria, that's the one in the upper, and then you've got the down deep, which is like the machine level.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't think that
working.
was excellently explained to me yet, but you guys know. Again, you guys know all about it.
I was going to say
it probably will come to light.
One of my only negative things about it was it didn't really, other than those shots looking down the stairwell.
Didn't know the scope.
I don't think people really gave a good scope. Like when they go down to see Jules, they're just like, it took us all day to walk down here.
Yeah,
but they didn't really.
I thought it were like
showed them kind of
2 or 3 floors, and then someone said there's 72
100
floors or something.
122, I think, is there?
144.
I was like,
Yeah, like I'm not
I didn't
expecting to
realise that.
watch them do that, but to maybe
I
have
am.
like it.
I think we'll get that with the third episode because
Yeah.
the mayor's mentioned that she wants to go down and meet Jules, and that
Yeah.
is that hers and Barnes's trips down from the upper to the very lower is like a chapter and a half in the book. So I think they'll actually have to show that because it takes them like 3 days to get down there.
Yeah, I don't
Hotel
want them
stuff, isn't
to.
there?
I don't want to fast travel. I want them to avoid doing fast travel. Basically,
I'm also probably majorly wrong, but I feel like I can predict what's happening already.
Can you?
But I'm probably a million. Yeah, I genuinely do, but I don't want to say it in case I'm right. Do you get what I mean? And now, in fact,
no, you tell us off air
I'll tell you off air.
because I don't think you'll be right at all.
I think I am. I think I've predicted it completely. But again, I will watch the third one. You know what I mean? I don't love it though. That's the thing. You guys are like, oh god, but then it's a realization of something you've been invested in.
Yeah.
That's the difference in it.
Sorry, Candy.
I think it's quite interesting how they're doing the pacing as well because they're spending a little bit more time on Jules's history than they did in the book, which is nice
Yeah.
because
The narrative's not in order either, is it?
it does sort of come back, but it's basically mentioned in the book that Jules helped with something in her past, and it's not really expanded on. And this seems to be going a lot more in detail with that.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to join up with what sort of happens to the mid and the end of the season. But I wonder if the entire first book is even going to be in this whole season.
I mean, it might do. It gets paid. Actually,
I think
no,
they've already said that it's going to be the full.
It's 10 episodes, isn't
Oh,
it?
is it?
Mm.
There's a lot that's going to be happening in these episodes then. But it'll be interesting to see. And as you mentioned, the Down Deep, that's the only thing that didn't really look as I expected in my head. Like in my head, the Down Deep was way more dark and dirty and sort of hot and sticky and everything. A lot more industrial.
It just looked like Leeds to me.
Yeah, I
Well,
imagined it to
that's-
be a lot more crowded as well down there.
It's still pretty crowded.
I haven't seen this, but Candy was just saying about the pacing of it. There's a lot of stuff I found on Apple TV that looks amazing, but it just doesn't hook us. So we kind of watch like 2 or 3 episodes of it, and then it just drops off our radar because it's just a bit like the Foundation series looks amazing.
Yeah.
And like my wife is into Asimov and all of that, you know, so it's right up her street. But we've watched the first episode and half of the second episode, and then it just dropped away because it's really quite slow. The same with that. What was it? The one with Adam Scott in it.
Severance.
Yeah, so that
I didn't like the
felt
first
really
episode.
slow.
It was so
Yeah, so we didn't
so
go back
gloomy.
to it. And
Oh, I
the
liked
only thing that's really gripped us on
Ted Lasso.
Apple TV so far, Ted Lasso and Peanuts.
Yeah. Peanuts is good.
So you know, I'm
It's a
so
weird one.
Again, we'll try it, but if it's
the budget
same
is there,
as,
isn't it? That's the thing. The budget's there. It looks incredible. They've got the actors in. Like they've done. I didn't even know they've done loads of like Tom Hanks films. Now we're like, what? I didn't know this. No one's been talking about these Tom Hanks films.
I think
Well,
just,
yeah.
we want
see,
that binge.
And
That was
Ghost
quite
Ghost
good. We
of the
enjoyed that.
shit. So fuck those.
for me, like bang for your buck, I think Apple TV's up there. I think they have consistently, like the original stuff they use is consistently pretty high.
Yeah.
Did you watch C?
No, like obviously it doesn't go for
It's
everything,
terrible.
but everything that I have watched, I pretty much enjoyed. I think Shrinking probably got a little bit boring towards the end. I think that could have done with it being a few.
Hello
episodes
Tomorrow was
short.
good.
Hello Tomorrow was good, but then again production value, but things like Blackbird and Ted Lasso and what else have I seen?
Isn't the morning
Almost-
show meant to be good?
Morning show's fantastic.
Slow Horses is great.
Severance I loved as well. I loved that the whole way through.
I mean, the production's fantastic. They're getting the good directors in. I genuinely hope this silo's really fantastic all the way through. Like, it's just, it's rare for me to say, yeah, I'll carry on with this. I never do that unless I love it. So, I don't love this, but I'm like, I am intrigued, and that's if they're doing that properly.
Well,
remember someone
funny
that's
though,
not in
because-
this world. They're doing the proper job, aren't they? If they're getting
Yeah.
me intrigued.
Stick Candy. What,
So
what,
we've been watching this. Sorry, we've been watching this thing on Netflix called The Night Agent, and it's proper dog shit. It's like proper chewing gum telly. It's
Yeah.
a proper dad show. It's CIA, White House conspiracy. But it
Ooh.
rattles along, and it's it
Pace,
could
pace,
be
pace.
if it was 20. Yeah, if it was 20% better, it would be good. But at the end of the day, like you get your kids into bed, put them away. You just want something shit to sit down on, and that rattles along. Whereas a lot of the stuff I found on Apple is I've really got to pay attention. And sometimes I just can't be asked.
You can't play Switch while you're watching Apple TV films and programs, can you?
Just
I was literally watching Silo. I was just watching it. I answer.
Stig, Candy, what did you think of? We've only seen him briefly, but Tim Robbins as Bernard.
Again, no spoilers, but I think he's going to be good for that role.
He's got the sneer, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Did Tim Robbins play the tall grey-haired guy? I didn't recognise him.
Yeah, that was Bernard.
Yeah.
So,
God, he's changed, hasn't he?
He has. So
saying that, if you see someone in the cast that's 7'2", it's definitely Tim Robbins.
yeah.
So he's a monster in real life.
It caused a lot of consternation of the fans of the book when Tim Robbins was cast, because the thing with Bernard is in the book he's described as being short and fat.
The complete opposite.
Complete opposite. They found a man who's so opposite, but his performance is exactly like the character is in the book. It's so good, and we've only seen him for like 2 minutes in one episode so far, and it's just like, I can't wait to see more of Bernard.
Yeah,
Tim Robbins is everyone's favourite tall drink of water. Telling you that
they've changed a really big thing from the early chapters, but I think it's done purposely for TV viewers. And it's to keep a mystery going.
Yeah.
Kate asked me a question about something. I was like, I'm not telling you, obviously. But you can ask me afterwards if you want to know what I'm talking about. But there is a big change that happens in that second episode.
You managed to get your wife to watch it with you? Mine fell asleep.
Yeah.
For the first 10 minutes, she was like that.
But yeah, there's but it's really good. I really enjoyed it, and the only disappointing thing for me is I know what happens. So they
might change it up though.
But the big mystery and kind of what's going to happen, you kind of know. So I'm just in it for like watching this story that I really enjoyed
correctly.
Did you ever finish the second book?
You up?
Did you ever finish the second book in the end?
Yeah, I finished all of them.
Oh, I didn't know, because I know you struggled with the second.
It was the third one I struggled with.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm excited.
And that's Silo, ladies and gentlemen, and that's the Nexus, I believe. Everyone's been done and dusted.
Yes.
Excellent. It's time for the main topic. We're going to be discussing moments that changed the world within media or technology or that kind of thing. It is non-fiction month still. This is non-fiction. These are things, and it's a verbose title that changed the world. It might have changed our world rather than the world, if you get me. So...
yeah, I was looking at this like not as being, the internet, because invention of telephones. So I was thinking more of like what kind of within our sphere.
It could still be the world, but it could just be something that a lasting impression as well. So I'm going to start with me, because
ego.
I am. No, I just am. For me, obviously, it's going to be something to do with games and stuff, and that moment. At the first inaugural E3 show, when that gentleman got up on the stage after the, I think it was the Sega Saturn announcement, he got up and he said, $2.99. That was a moment. Can you remember? Did you ever see that?
No.
He literally, because obviously the Sega Saturn came out. I'm talking about the PlayStation, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't have the internet back then. I'm talking about the PlayStation, the original PlayStation. So the Sega Saturn was coming out $3.99. It's expensive. $9.95, remember, or $9.94.
Yeah, $400 in 1995 is a lot of money now.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Sony executive got up on stage after the Sega one, and he just went on the mic. He tapped on the mic and went $2.99 and walked off, and that was it. And it was like, yeah, that's how they did it. And since then, I've always kind of liked Sony's attitude, and I don't anymore. I think Sony are fucking baddies nowadays. But that early, like, if you don't know the story, Sony got absolutely shafted by Nintendo, didn't they? They were producing a compact disc add-on for the Super Nintendo alongside Nintendo, and then they went, oh no, we're going to go to, was it Panasonic or someone else?
Oh, no. It wasn't an add-on, wasn't it? It was supposed to be a whole new console.
Yeah, a whole new console it was.
Well, they were working together, weren't they?
Yeah, they were working together for a new console.
And then they went, and then under Sony's back, like behind the back, they went, we're going to go with Panasonic or some other.
Yeah.
And Sony were like, you know what? Fuck them. We're gonna make us own. Everyone's laughing at them, saying,
make my own
Sony,
console
music.
with blackjack and hookers.
And they're like, the music people, they don't, the Walkman people, they know how to make games. And they changed the fucking world. The gaming world. I don't care if you're not a Sony fan. They fucking changed the game.
Inside Oodles, before you go on with this one, I've just done the what would $3.99 be in 1995 be now. So for a Sega Saturn, remember that piece of shit?
Oh. Yeah, terrible.
£765.
Oh,
Imagine,
Pricey.
this is the thing. Imagine if you'd have, because Sega were well loved, especially in Britain, way more, and America, really massive. They were winning the Mega Drive Super Nintendo wars, weren't they?
In the West, yeah, and
I think there was not in the East,
no.
but
I was always
in the West they were smashing. I was Nintendo. If you'd have put, I'm going to go with this Sega Saturn because I love the Mega Drive and stuff, you'd have been so gutted because the
Absolutely.
PlayStation just came out and fucking destroyed. Like,
It was actually unfair.
it was the attitude I loved about it. Nintendo 64 existed, and that still kept up, kind of, not to the levels of Sony, but it still kept up there because that was like, it had your good household name. You had Mario and stuff, you know what I mean? You had good games and stuff. But the PlayStation, it was the attitude that I loved about it. They just came out like with fucking Crash Bandicoot storming into Nintendo's offices with a megaphone and saying shit. Do you remember? Or what did it say? Because I can't remember. They had this like mental viral marketing back then.
The fucking Crash Bandicoot outfit that actor was wearing is terrifying.
I know. He used to kick doors down and go, "Fuck you, Sega! Fuck you!" It's like, it's fucking.
The best part is when Crash 4 came out, they brought it back.
Right back.
Yeah, so Sony's marketing for the PlayStation was absolutely genius because they just
Insane.
because they just basically made it as like, oh, you like the Nintendo 64 for kiddies. The adults play the PlayStation. And then,
by all accounts, this was just the American side of it, weren't they? Because the Japanese are really honourable and stuff, aren't they? So they were doing all this awful shit.
I mean, did you see some of the marketing in the UK for the PlayStation?
Oh, it was insane. Insane.
That very famous Sarah Cox one for Wipeout, which looks like he's punched in the face by her boyfriend.
Yeah. Because there was that thing where, like, when you come home from the club, don't beat your girlfriend up, play Wipeout with the lads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like, fucking hell. They were just like, I don't know what it was. And it was the first, like, what I consider my first deviation from Nintendo was the PlayStation. Because I mean, we weren't well off, but I had the choice that Christmas, like, which do I get? You know what I mean? And I was lucky to get, I think, like, this is the first time in my life I put my cards, I placed the best bet.
I think
I put it on PlayStation.
I think actually, you know, Oodles, because I had that same choice when I was a kid. Like, it was like, what do you want for Christmas? And the choice was a Nintendo 64 or a PlayStation. And my parents kind of edged me towards the PlayStation.
It's cheaper.
Well, not because the console itself was particularly cheaper. They were about the same price, but the games were so much cheaper.
Mega cheaper, yeah. They're like 80 quid for some.
Yeah, 70 quid for a cartridge or 30 quid for a CD.
Yeah.
You're going to go for the CD. Like parents know I'm going to be supporting this habit. Let's make sure they get the cheaper games.
Yeah. I remember taking Tekken 2 home for the first time. That was the game I got on my PlayStation, Tekken 2. And fucking hell, Tekken 2 on a big fat CRT screen. Oh my God. And like, I know it came out with Tekken 1, didn't it? But Tekken 2 came out really fast after, and we got it later than every other country because we used to get shit last, didn't we?
Mm.
And it was Tekken 2, and fucking hell.
I'm pretty sure I could have done better in my GCSEs if I hadn't got Tekken 2.
Me and my mate were doing our A-levels. Well, we were meant to be doing our A-levels. And we literally went into Hereford. He bought Tekken 2, and we then spent like 4 days solid just missioning it to open up all the characters.
Like, because you had to complete it, didn't you? You had to complete it to get new characters. It was such a game changer, Tekken 2. It looked real, man. It looked real.
Mm-hmm. It was Tomb Raider that did it for me. Playing
Tomb Raider, I got that
Tomb
really
Raider
fast
on a friend's
as well.
PlayStation because he got one at launch at school. Like, glad at school got one at launch. And I went around this and played Tomb Raider, and I was just like, I need one of these.
How can this game exist?
And like, my dad was he'd always get us like the new stuff, but it was at the cost of having to sell the old one. It was like
yes,
like
you couldn't keep it,
which ridiculous because he could have definitely afforded.
Because you'd have made more money now as well if you'd have kept them.
But yeah, so I was just like, yeah, I want one of them. So I didn't have the choice really because I got one before the N64 came out. But I would have gone with PlayStation over the N64. Like,
I just feel like I had and then luck would have it. I was massive into my Super Nintendo for the RPGs, and Final Fantasy was a big thing back then, and Dragon Warrior as we had it, and then turns out because that was going to be on the Nintendo 64. Turns out it didn't. It ended up going on to PlayStation. I was just like, yes, just like whatever gods you believe in were just smiling on me for just that one little choice I made. And to this day, I don't think I've made a better choice in my life. Maybe becoming a dad that kind of weren't my choice either. That just happened. Yeah. But I just think it changed. But I think it changed gaming because it made competition like. Everyone was chasing PlayStation. And I still think to this, even though I don't think PlayStation is as cool or as nice as it used to be, I think people are still chasing PlayStation to this day.
Oh, they are 100%. Like you have to look at the sales of Xbox might have all like the kind of the ecosystem that they've got with all Game Pass
it's way
and everything.
better.
It's brilliant.
Way better.
But trying to explain that to some random who doesn't really give a shit, they just go, I want the new PlayStation.
That remembers Tekken 2.
Like, people say,
the name helps as well. PlayStation.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
It's
a great name. And what have they done? PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3.
Just
so
keep
simple.
Keep it simple.
What's the latest Xbox called? The best Xbox called?
Series X.
But they already had an Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Stupid.
See, the 360 was fine with that naming convention.
360, I love the 360.
You could just say 360, but yeah.
Yeah. But I just genuinely, I think if PlayStation hadn't done what they'd done, the 360 wouldn't have been as good as it was because I think they learned from that. From the PS2, there was like, PS2's just got game after game, and 360 was like, we're going to have game after game after game, and we're also going to put a really good online thing into it. Do you know what I mean? I think everyone's always been learning from them in a weird way, even though like Nintendo was the first big breakout. And it's probably because of PlayStation that Sega died as well.
Oh, without a doubt.
It's probably also Sega's own bad decisions. Like the Saturn was a flop, and the Dreamcast did well in Japan, but not well outside of Japan.
Yeah,
it didn't have the support.
Yeah, it's just if you look at the backlog, all the games that came out on PlayStation 1, you forget just how fucking impactful they were, and it's perfect timing as well because I was a teenager. Do you know what I mean? Or starting to become a teenager, getting into adolescence and stuff like that, and it was just perfect. I still think to this day, and it sounds weird, but I still think the console looks incredible. The little grey box, I think it looks lovely, mate. It looks like George Orwell 1984 style fucking box.
I always coveted the matte black Net Eurosy one.
Oh, that was stunning. My mate loved the Net Eurosy one that much. He got his PlayStation and fucking spray painted it black and it just chipped away and fucking sprayed the laser and everything. But remember, again, chipping the PlayStation for pirated games, that was such a big thing as well.
Yeah,
it's the first time I knew you could do that.
Yeah, we had that.
Huge.
Little spring.
Getting a game for £1 off Pervy Pete in pub. Do you know?
Put a normal game in to load it up. Press the open button. It had a little spring in to keep it going. Switch him round. Put him down.
And because of the PlayStation, it was the first time I bought a gaming magazine because it had a demo disc on it. I never knew that was a thing. I know PC players had that for years before that and stuff. But to me, I was like, this is huge. But yeah, it's just fucking...
You forgot one thing.
What?
The startup sound.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Still great to this day.
When you didn't have a disc in, you could see your memory card and you could... Oh, God, everything was just perfect.
Actually, compared to the Sega startup sound, which was a fucking snitch when he was trying to play it in secret, and flying down and bellow Sega at you.
Sega.
Oh my God, the amount of bollockings I got for that fucking thing.
Yeah, I just think it was a perfect thing and it changed the game. For me, that's gaming's version of the iPhone. You know what I mean?
There is a weird nostalgia with that startup sound. Like I get like a synesthesia response from it whenever.
My mate has it as his text tone still, and he lets the whole thing play through, and he gets a text message.
There's just so many times if I hear that sound, like I'll just like have my head like then the photosensitivity warning, and then like maybe like the opening to the do from Crash or something like that.
Oh, I remember the the Konami one.
Yeah.
On Metal Gear. Oh God. Oh, the Capcom.
Imagine how different a person you'd be, Oodles, if you'd gone for the N64 and your only RPG choice was Castlevania 64.
I'd have been fucked, mate. I'd have been fucked. And I very nearly went for it because I was like, I love Zelda. I love Mario. I'm so glad. I'd have probably got one game for the rest of my life because they were so expensive.
Yeah.
I just made the best decision, and I think it's changed the gaming landscape. Again, to this day, everyone's still playing catch up. But yeah, that's my pick. Stig, you bring in.
Well, because I wasn't really going to be on tonight. But
Hey, just fucking crashed, didn't it? Gate crashed.
well, I managed to get some work done and stuff, so I decided I'd come on.
Good lad.
And
you wanted to see Rob and all, didn't you?
yeah, of course. Well,
it
from
is.
one, so I've just gone with the other gaming inventors and initiatives. Nintendo,
Yeah.
just Nintendo in general.
In general, they did change the landscape. They invented the landscape.
Several times through, actually.
Yes,
Several
exactly.
times
So
through.
the NES, the SNES, just creating absolute phenomenons.
The Game & Watch was a massive thing, though, wasn't it? The original Game & Watch.
Well, I'm talking specifically like home consoles, really. But yeah, just they were just massive back then, and they've just created
SNES were
created
massive.
some of the biggest, most successful, and best franchises of all time have come from Nintendo.
Are they the longest going one? I think they are, aren't they?
Yeah, now.
Yeah. There's no that's gone nowhere near as big as
long
as Nintendo.
I mean, technically you've got Atari, but it's like it's only really a name. It's like it's Atari several
It's
times.
not the same
removed.
company, is it?
Nah.
Yeah.
They're not producing new consoles and new things, are they? So, but yeah, like back then,
They
you know,
do the odd thing, don't they?
the start of
So,
Mario, the
that's
start of Zelda, the start of Final Fantasy, the start of
everything.
huge franchises that have lasted
You can't
for
ignore Miyamoto as well, can you?
30 odd years. But it's just how, and then obviously, you know, you talked about the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation, but the Nintendo 64 was the first console to do things that hadn't been done before.
Yeah.
It was wasn't it technically like the first 3D graphics and the analog stick and everything that the stuff
It
that
had
they
the
were
first
doing on
analog
that.
stick
Yeah, it was the first to do things, and
and Rumble Pack.
Yeah, Rumble Pack.
so they were inventing things that then the PlayStation and Sony looked at and go,
Everyone went, we'll have that.
we'll have that. We'll put that technology into ours as well.
But we'll have the attitude about it, though, as well.
Yes, but I
We'll be rude
also
about it.
But you say that, but I also kind of love some of the attitude from Nintendo. The DS, the reveal of DS, Reggie just pulls it out of
good.
his jacket pocket. Go, this is the DS. It's like,
Yeah,
brilliant.
that was brilliant. But he
the-
took that from Steve Jobs, though.
I was going to say
He
that's
stole that.
that's the Steve Jobs iPod reveal.
He did the same thing.
Yeah,
He copied
but-
him. But he's still cool, and Reggie's a monster of a man, so it's cool to see him do it as well.
Yeah.
It looked even smaller in his hands.
but I mean, that was just an evolution, obviously, of the Game Boy, which was a fantastic
Game Boy,
piece of
what a
equipment.
moment.
But they had
I think the Game Boy might. I know most of what Nintendo's done has been important. I think the Game Boy might be the most
Is
important.
the most important.
Simply because it brought so many people into the concept of gaming.
Yeah.
Like the NES opened up a market, but the Game Boy had like fucking civilians into it. You know, everyone.
My
wanted to play
auntie
Tetris.
my auntie Denise had a Game Boy, and she was like 60.
Yeah.
She'd never touched a game in her life, and she was playing Tetris all the time.
Well,
Tetris
this-
on the toilet. Mum's favourite.
Well, that leads me into Nintendo's after the DS. They released this dual screened on the go console. It's an evolution of the Game Boy. It's what you loved about the Game Boy, but it's better now. When they revealed it, they go, "Oh, by the way, you can play the brand new Metroid on there as well." There you go, the brand new Metroid on the
perfect.
console for you when it comes out. Amazing little bit of equipment, which they then
I loved it.
then obviously. The evolution of that, they changed it, they made it better, they added things to it, they put the concept of the 3D in there.
Yeah,
all
3DS
that.
is
Just-
really good.
It was Wi-Fi compatible. The first DS,
Yeah.
It's the first,
It
I think it was the first handheld console to go properly Wi-Fi. Because before you'd have to obviously use
No,
cable.
PSP. I think PSP was the first.
PSP had like Wi-Fi to play to player, not to connect to the internet.
Oh, you could go into PSN network on PSP.
Did you?
Yeah, you could
think you could
download
play
games on PSN network.
I'd have to look
Wi-Fi.
into
I don't know
that.
which came out first. though.
I'm
The
pretty sure
DSi was the first online one. The DSi.
Okay, we're gonna have to
So
look
whichever
this up.
came out first, the PSP
So-
or the DSi.
PSP came out in October
2004.
2004, and
The DSi was the first.
21st of November. So I mean, they're more or less the same time.
Yeah, the DSi had the DSi where you had to go into the eShop to download stuff, but the PSP also had PSN.
Mm.
You just forget. You just remembering.
It's a lot to remember.
Yeah,
We're
bit of
very
Wi-Fi.
drunk.
Yeah,
But
we are.
It doesn't matter anyway. The
No, I still think the DS is better than PSP.
The year
mate. Not
after-
so much stupid.
the year after, for all its faults that people don't like about it, they reinvented the game again, which made people stand up
Yep.
and listen and change the way
Some
they were doing
exercise.
things. And they brought out the Wii. They didn't bring out the Wii the year after. They revealed the Wii. Iwata came out basically. Again, he pulled it out of his jacket pocket.
Yeah, he did.
We were fond
That's
of
where
that
they keep
move.
everything.
Yeah, he pulled it out of his jacket pocket, and he's like, "This is the smallest home console ever, and we've got some exciting things about it. It's backwards
It was so
compatible.
cute, though.
Yeah, you
cute
can-
looking console.
You can play the it's
GameCube
backwards
games.
compatible with the GameCube
GameCube.
games, but not only that, you will be able to download all of Nintendo's back catalog. So that was like another thing that they're saying. It wasn't just the previous games that you owned.
virtual console was insane.
You could actually go and download the old games, the games on cartridges that weren't available on disc. You could now own that on your new consoles. And not only that, when it came out, it's got motion controls, brand new thing for the gaming market. It got loads of people playing consoles, loads of older people. My mum would play bowling on the Wii Sports and stuff.
Yeah. Nanans and stuff were playing Wii.
Yeah, and it was a fad, but it made Microsoft go, hang on, we want our own version of that. Same
Kinect
with
was so
Sony.
good, wasn't it?
Kinect,
Not.
Kinect worked with some stuff.
And the iToy was shit and all.
Yeah, but that because you had to use the control. But the Kinect, there were some games on the Kinect that worked really, really well, but they weren't as good. But they were still
No.
Nintendo still made them sit up and think.
Made them change it.
Yeah, what can we do?
Yeah,
New
yeah,
things
yeah.
we can do.
Yeah.
Less said about the Wii U, the better. But the concept that they had there then led to the
It
Switch.
built the Switch, didn't it?
Yeah. The Switch, a AAA console that you can take on the go. Now
My all-time
there's a
favourite
fucking
console as of
invention.
today. It's my all-time favourite console as of
It
today.
isn't
It's-
just it isn't the DS, isn't the Game Boy, isn't the lesser version of the one that you have at home. This is the
better
one you
version of
have at
everything.
home that you can pick up and take with you. You can play the AAA Nintendo games on the
rooftop
go.
parties,
At rooftop parties. Yeah,
basketball court.
that's incredible.
It's amazing, mate.
Like-
It's genuinely fantastic.
Yeah, it might
I
be
still
like-
think about the Switch and go, "Holy fuck! I've got 2 controllers on this one console already." It's
Exactly. Like
mental.
it might be lagging
Mental.
behind the other one. It's lagging behind the PlayStation and the Xbox
Who cares
in
about
terms of
graphics?
front power.
Sometimes
but,
it's about
I mean,
gameplay.
Iwata even came out in that Wii conference and said, "It's all about horsepower."
No,
And you'll see that when this launches. And that's the same
Yeah.
with the Switch. It ain't about the horsepower. It's about what it can play and what it can do. And what it can play and do is actually incredible for this little tiny
fantastic.
rectangle. It's about
It's a
2-inch.
tablet.
How thick is it? It's like 2-inch thick, if that. It's like
Not
Probably
even
an inch
that.
and a quarter.
yeah, that thing there, and it's playing like Breath of the Wild, and Mario, and somehow
Fucking
managing to
insane.
get games like Doom Eternal playing on it. Like it's the stuff that little console's done, and it's just Nintendo have just been amazing throughout their whole career of reinventing the wheel. Now the next
yeah, they
console,
have.
we have no idea where they're going to go with, but they'd probably be stupid to not just do a better version
Switch
of
2.
Switch. Yeah,
Yeah,
But-
I think this might be the first full-on sequel they're going to do.
yeah, but you know.
Apart from the DSs and stuff.
Who knows where
All
they'll
the
go,
SNES.
go in the future with it? But I think
Yeah.
the Switch is too good of a thing for them to say, right, we're going to do If they came now and said, no, your next console's going to be under the TV, can't take it anywhere.
It's VR only.
Unless they said, because we're bringing another DS out, but people don't want that. I think the Switch,
An all-in-one.
yeah, but the Switch has actually got other companies looking at it. The Steam Deck is clearly born from
Yep.
the Switch. What can
Yep,
we do now? And all this new Azos, they're doing ones, and there's other companies. They're all
Yeah.
doing their own little
Ioneos and stuff like
yeah,
that.
how does it? And it's all born from what the Switch did. So yeah,
It's the best console I've ever owned by far, and it's the most used console I've ever done in my life.
yeah. I have owned every single Nintendo console apart from the N64 because I just couldn't. I was a kid, I couldn't afford it, and my mate had
No
one.
one could afford it.
Yeah, but my mate had one, so I went to just go play on his and enjoyed it through him.
Same.
And they've
It's
always
only the Wii U I've never played. I've never even touched a Wii U in my life.
the Wii U had some good ideas, but they just marketed it and just left it to die.
I've never seen one in the wild, mate. I've never seen one.
The Wii U was good. I liked it. They didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
The Switch was born from the Wii U's
The
controller idea, I think, and that's where you kind of got to praise the Wii U.
The Wii U
Yeah, thanks Wii U for that.
The Wii U tablet controller was actually surprisingly nice to use.
Yeah,
Was it? Did it feel good?
yeah, it wasn't
good, like-
uncomfortable. Yes,
Yeah, not heavy in anything.
No,
Nintendo
that
controllers
was
are
a
nearly
novelty.
always
Like
good.
at the time, picking that up.
not the N64 candy.
I thought the N64.
No, that was-
that was alright.
The N64 controller was
I
fucking
like
horrendous.
that.
I've only got 2 hands.
You need 3 hands for that
I
bastard.
didn't
I know, but you
understand
just
it.
hold it in the middle.
Stalks.
Actually, I have to say, I can't remember one occasion where I put my hand on like both sides. It was always in the middle, but it was comfy though.
Yeah. I think the
Sorry.
GameCube controller's comfier.
Yeah, I've been rambling, but Nintendo changed the gaming landscape. Still do.
You're right. They are the daddies.
Is there an argument that what Oodles was telling us about the price point of the PlayStation
Mhm.
that leads to the cheaper availability of games, which then everyone's then into games, so then Nintendo
Probably.
can run with that innovation. So you
Probably.
don't get one without the other, almost.
I think they're all tangentially linked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all feeding off each other. Like there was the moment where Xbox were winning, the 360 generation. They were conquering. I loved the 360. And I'm not an Xbox guy, but I loved it.
That was all Call of Duty and FIFA. That.
But it worked for them.
Oh, yeah,
they had
absolutely.
the best online
Yeah,
integration I've
the
ever
amount of Call of
seen
Duty I
ever.
played on the 360 is ridiculous.
Yeah, even I played Call of Duty on that, and I don't play
Pretty sure
Call
I
of
nearly
Duty.
wore out my Modern Warfare disc.
Yeah.
Well,
I went
Warfare
through
2.
so many Xbox 360 controllers. You know, the nub bit, the analogs. I nubbed them out.
But I do think it's fair to say that like Nintendo have looked because
They're
they
the daddies, aren't
tried
they?
to go with the N64 and the GameCube. They tried to go neck and neck with PS2 and Xbox,
Couldn't do it.
and they just couldn't do it. At that point, I think yes, the games are great, but people at that point were looking at power and graphics,
Yeah.
and they probably just went, "Why don't we just do what we're good at? We'll do our own separate thing,
Yeah.
our own inventive thing, and that's what will bring people
Yeah.
over. We offer
I
the
agree.
different side of gaming,
Yeah.
and it worked.
I agree, mate.
I think
Again,
I
the
think also-
Switch is the best console I've ever owned.
I think
Ever.
also the N64 just didn't have the third party support. Like a lot of the
No.
third party games for the N64 were shite.
Yeah, and the ported stuff was crap though. Like, in the Resident Evil games, like terrible on it.
No, Resident Evil 2 is a masterpiece
I thought that was
on 64. I don't know how they did it.
It's witchcraft that they got 2 CDs down to fucking 64
With
megabytes.
FMVs.
Oh, that's it then. Sorry, I was thinking
With FMVs on it as well.
Around, yeah.
Resident Evil 2 on 64 is probably the best version in my opinion. It's fantastic. They've got they've got loads of like added bonuses to it and stuff
Yeah,
that
true,
no
I
other
suppose,
version had. Fantastic.
Although GameCube did have Twin Six as well.
Oh, yeah. Why not backflip and kick a rocket out of the air? Why not? Why not?
Do it every day on my way to work.
Exactly. Rob, what are you bringing, mate?
Well, a bit of a change of tact.
Do it.
I've written you an essay, so here we go. I'd
Let's
like
go.
to take you back, all the way back to the days when the internet was still too scary to trust with your card details, when the World Wide Web was like outlaw country, and if you did have access to it, it was reliant on whether or not your nan rang you to tell you about someone else who you didn't know or care about had died. So, jump in the time machine, and like Jarvis Cocker sang, let's all meet up in the year 2000 for Metallica versus Napster.
What a moment in history. I love this. I love this.
So, this was a legal battle between the heavy metal legends and the file sharing service in 2000. The band sued Napster for copyright infringement, claiming that the platform was allowing users to illegally download and share Metallica's music without permission. The case was highly publicised and sparked a widespread debate about the legality of file sharing and its impact on the music industry. Metallica's stance on this issue was seen by some as a defence of intellectual property rights, while others criticised the band for being out of touch with the changing nature of music distribution in the digital age. It was also a bit hypocritical because if you look at the impact of like tape sharing and stuff in the 80s that helped
Yeah.
Metallica to build
That's how
up
they
this massive fan
started.
base. That's it. They wouldn't be. Yeah.
No.
Anyway, ultimately, the court ruled in favour of Metallica, and Napster was forced to shut down its file sharing service.
Yep.
The case set a precedent for future legal battles involving online piracy and copyright infringement, and many other music artists followed in Metallica's footsteps in suing various file sharing platforms.
They did.
At the time of the case in 2000, the global music industry was worth around $40 billion a year. In 2020, it was $21 billion, and most of that
Wow.
comes through streaming. So just in that 20 years, it's almost halved.
Wow.
While established artists with large catalogues can earn significant revenues from streaming, emerging artists and those with smaller fan bases can struggle to make a living solely from streaming royalties. The decline in physical album sales and the shift towards streaming services have created new challenges for up-and-coming musicians looking to build a career in the music industry. The biggest change is probably the increased importance of social media and online platforms for like promotion and distribution.
Yeah.
Artists now have they have access to stuff like the social media and the Spotify and YouTube. They all allow them to reach new audiences, build fan bases, and promote their music. But then that's time that's taken away from actually creating the music in the first place. Another big change is like this recently, last sort of 10 years or so, 10 years. The rise of like independent music labels, DIY strategies, that sort of thing. Lots of not quite home recording, but musicians are doing everything themselves.
You don't need a big setup anymore, do you?
No, that's it. And then there's all these different independent labels that offer more artist-friendly contracts and a greater degree of creative control.
I wish.
I'm just in the process of setting up a little micro label to put out some music that I think is pretty cool. So at the end of June, I'm going to be putting out the third EP from Alvin and the Angry Barrels, which is my brother's band. And if you listen to Records and Band podcasts, they do the theme tune for that.
Yes.
So I'm going to be setting up a little record label to push that. But
do you want a Northern French rapper?
Yeah,
because we know just the guy. His name's Biggie, and he's really good. He's really good at rapping. It has to be news related, but he's looking for a label. Trust me.
Basically,
we'll send him your way. I'm his manager, you see.
Yeah. Basically, I think that whole Napster versus Metallica thing, it kind of kickstarts everything to where we are now. If we don't have that, we don't get the 99 pence a song model that Apple take on with the first round of iTunes. We don't then go into Spotify and paying X amount per month for your music service, your music streaming. And if we're not paying £10 a month for Spotify, the Netflix think, we could charge them £8-10 a month for TV as well. So does modern media consumption go all the way back to that lawsuit?
I think that's the catalyst, because like I was probably too young to use Napster, but I remembered the LimeWire days.
I was going to say it's probably the kind of catalyst for the other way as well, for all the illegal stuff that came from
the pirate stuff.
Like that was like the
a
first
crossroad,
thing,
isn't it?
the first thing you heard, and it's like then LimeWire came, and then BitTorrent and Pirate Bay. I think that's like you've got two different things there going on, but all started at that point with Napster.
I think also when Napster got sued, I think that's when people who were making pirate software or making software to do file transfers like that, that's where they started making it less centralized and like less like a company. So like BitTorrent is just a concept. No one owns it.
No one owns it, and they made it more anonymous, didn't they?
Yeah, so you can't kind of sue BitTorrent for piracy.
Get anyone. Yeah, exactly. I think it goes two ways. I mean, the current model now, which people like to call it the Netflix model, but it's just the easiest way to describe it, isn't it? You're paying for a subscription. You don't own anything. It's like Blockbuster Plus, isn't it? You're just renting things on the fly for £10 a month. I kind of like that as a man that doesn't like clutter anymore, but I can imagine me 20 years ago when I loved my CD collection, and I would have, and I mean, I did queue up for Saint Anger by Metallica. I wish I'd not. But I loved CDs, and I back then I'd have gone, this can't happen. But if I'd have embraced it earlier, I think things would have been better for me. I just think it would have been a nice environment, because I was so stuck in my ways where I only liked what I liked because I had to go out and buy that CD. Now I think the album's I think the album's dead now.
No, I don't think the album's dead. I think the album.
No,
has
I don't
its
think it
place.
is either. I think we're.
I think it's. We live in a singles generation now.
Well, we're having a big vinyl resurgence.
Yeah,
hand
that's
up if you're a vinyl wanker. Hello.
I've got vinyls.
But I think it was like last year was the first time that vinyl had outsold CDs for like 30 years or something.
Yes.
But one thing that I've found, and obviously I'm very music centric because that's all we talk about on the podcast. But one thing that comes up a lot on records and bands is like the concept of selling out. So as a Generation X cliche, that whole like you don't sell out, you don't put your stuff on adverts, you don't go out of your way to market yourself. You have to do that now to just get heard.
To make
you
money.
Need to be well, not even to make money, just to be heard. Like you need to be sending your song to 60, 70, 100 different people on Spotify on the hope that they might include it on their playlist.
Yes.
You need to be sending it to blogs. You need to be greeting palms. And like, to me, like punk rock adjacent grungy kid, that's the worst. Like, do you know what I mean?
Kurt Cobain's rolling in his grave.
Well, could you imagine Kurt Cobain with Facebook? Like, yeah. So, but I think like the digitization, if you like, if that's the word, of like music and that, I think it's all goes back to that Napster and.
I agree, mate. I agree,
Metallica.
and things like Bandcamp and stuff like that. Is it Bandcamp?
Yeah,
Bandcamp.
Bandcamp's.
People love that because I know mates that used to make money from music and now they just do Bandcamp and make pittance from it, but they're not in it for the music. You know what I mean? They're just in it to get out there. And another thing as well that I've noticed, and you might not notice this, Rob, but like someone like me, Stig and Gadget, we use TikTok. We're TikTok users. And the top 10 now are all TikTok songs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's massive.
Huge. I found some great bands through TikTok. Like 2 weeks' time, I'm seeing Thumpasaurus when they get to Newcastle.
It's the most used app in the world at the moment, isn't it? TikTok.
And they're a fucking weird little kind of disco rock mental health band from somewhere in America.
No, excellent.
They're fucking weird. You will have heard one of their songs because it was on the Galaxy Z Flip advert last year.
I know exactly who they are.
Here's my strip my way on over to you. That song. Yeah. They're fucking great. They're hilarious, but I never would have found them if it weren't for TikTok.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. It's mad.
So the plan with this little record label that I'm setting up is that obviously I'm going to put out my brother's EP. They're going to keep all the digital stuff, and then we're going to split physical sales, CDs and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And then and we're literally starting with 150 quid to get the CDs made.
Yeah.
And then whatever we make at the end of the project, once all the CDs are sold, I then roll that into my share of that. I roll that into the next project. So we're not talking a lot of money, but just enough to, the
passion will get you through as well.
Exactly. So this first project might generate enough money to get another artist that I like a day in the studio to get something made.
Yeah.
And then we can reset that 150 quid and go again, and then just keep rolling just for the sake of the music rather than, we're not going to make millions from it. You can't, but we can get some good music out there to people that wouldn't hear it otherwise. So that's the plan. And you can, here's a plug now then. So that's all going to be at losthikerrecords.com.
There you go. We'll let you do that again at the end as well, mate. You get another stab at the plug.
That's good enough. Cheers.
Brilliant. This man. Candy.
Well, actually, I'm just going to carry on this conversation because mine was just streaming media in general. So
perfect. Keep it going.
Spotify was one of them. So we'll move away from music then, and then head towards like the Netflix generation and everything, and just what a change it has made. It was mentioned before. Space.
I saw it on Twitter the other day. They called it Genflix.
Genflix. I like that. But yeah, I mean, for better for worse, obviously it has its down points and everything. But there hasn't been a week gone by where we've all seen something at the cinema where we haven't just streamed something or watched something.
True.
On Netflix and everything. And in some ways, it is a shame because physical media is a lost art. There is a lost art to opening a a new book or a new cover and seeing the artwork and everything. But I think actually, you mentioned vinyl wankers, but actually it's, like you said, they've outsold CDs, and the majority of people buying vinyl...
It's because it sounds better, mate, trust me.
But the majority of these people don't have vinyl players. They don't have anything to play it on. They're just buying it literally because it's a collector's edition kind of thing. So there are still out there, if you're a fan of whatever it is, you will go...
I've bought vinyls that I've not opened because I just want them. I just want them.
Exactly.
There's also something nice, if it's something you're particularly passionate about, to own a physical version of it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I've got every Prince vinyl that I could possibly find just because I want every Prince vinyl.
But you know who does.
It's about jumping all over the candies thing. It's like, for me, the vinyl is very much about the ritual. So I'm going to go and get it out of the box and open up and take out the record and put it on, and then I'm going to sit down and I listen to it from start to finish.
Start to finish, yeah.
So it's almost like mindful consumption, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
I think with Spotify as well, there's less of, like, if you wanted to check out a band, for example, it's very rare that you're going to go straight into the first CD and listen to it. You'll probably do like the top 5 songs that are going to be streamed. So things like concept albums might be a little bit out the window now, where you're telling a story from start to finish.
That's what I think, the death of the album, that's what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
death of the concept album, because if you know, like my personal playlist where I've got all my things, I've not got a full album on that playlist.
Yeah, you pick and choose what you
know what I
like,
mean?
and you're given...
I pick and choose, yeah.
You're given what to listen
even
to.
new music.
Unless you're Coheed and Cambria. Every album's a story.
Every album is a story with Coheed and Cambria. You can't just pick and choose with those ones. That's different.
Unless you just go genre prog.
yeah. Then you don't know when one song begins and ends. That's the problem.
It's a beautiful mess of notes.
I will say one
do you
thing.
know A Boat on the Sea by Moron Police?
Oh yes, another Moron Police convert. I love that.
What an album that is! What an album that is! It's like one of the best. Like, I only heard it last year, and I think it's one of the best records I've heard in the last.
It's fucking incredible.
Gadget's mentioned it a few times.
It's so good.
So
I described it as walking into a really shitty arcade.
Oh, really? Like a Skegness?
Yeah. Like some of it sounds like they've ripped off like the theme from Smash Brothers, and some of it sounds like it is.
It's like video game prog.
Brilliant. But the concept of it is there's like this real environmental undertone to the whole lot as well, and it's right up my street, and I just fucking love it. But the drummer passed away, didn't he, a couple of years ago?
The car crash, yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
He was only like 34.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, so young.
Yeah.
Oh, so super young.
And super talented. Like, when you listen to that album, like, that drummer was incredible to just keep up with the bullshit that they were putting out.
Like Neil Peart levels
such
of drumming.
It's like Neil Peart meets Dragon Force sometimes.
Fuck off.
Because they go really fucking quick
it's almost
at times.
it's almost techno at times.
Wow.
Yeah, like drum wise.
I am intrigued. I'm gonna put that in my Spotify.
I don't know if
now.
you know the closest thing I can think is for comparison is if you think of like really early therapy stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like with like the real techie stuff with like real techno influence to it. Like
Okay.
And I've jumped all over Candy again. Sorry.
No, it's absolutely fine. No, I'm glad to
She loves
keep the
this
conversation
shit. She loves
going.
it.
But I mean, like I said, for better for worse, with streaming media, one thing it has taken away is being able to own things. And when it comes to series and films, there's not anything like a vinyl that you can collect per se. I mean, some of these things will be released on DVD, but it's rarely, or Blu-ray. It would rarely be a sort of collector's edition type thing. It would rarely be an experience of opening it, like the ritual of the vinyl, like you mentioned. So
I think luckily books are still surviving that, aren't they?
Books are still surviving, and
because people like smelling them.
Yeah. And you have to take a book on a plane. It's tradition as well. But it's something like absolutely changed the scenery. There's no, I won't there's no point harping on about it because we all know how much we use streaming media. So yeah,
I genuinely think I wouldn't be able to survive without my Spotify anymore. Mm-hmm. If I lost, I'm tightest man on planet, but I still pay full $14.99 for me and the wife to have Spotify together. And my playlist is like sanctity for me. It's whole. It's my scriptures. Do you know what I mean? It's me. It's everything that encompasses me, and it's not public. It's my private one. Because there's a lot of prints on there, and it's a bit worrying, to be fair, how much print is on there.
For me, Audible as well. Like, I had a really long period of not checking out books and everything because I just didn't have time to sit down and read a book and do nothing else. But now being able to listen to books and do other things at the same time, especially
and I bet
as an
your
adult,
Audible collection's fantastic.
It's fucking huge.
Not as big as probably Gadgets and Stigs. Them two love it.
No,
Audible on that.
I don't know. Mine's pretty big.
I've only got about 24, 25 on Audible.
All right.
Actually, I only started using Audible this year. My book collection, however, is getting ridiculous.
The library.
It's not so much a library, but I worked out my to read pile occupies like 4 different rooms in the house. I have books all over the fucking shop. It's driving Pip mad. Just going to kill me.
See,
Cool.
I'm still
Go on,
an advocate for some physical, and I'm trying to whittle these down to just get rid of them because that's just a collection from years and years of DVDs and Blu-rays. But I still, as much as great as streaming is, an advocate for keeping physical media of the stuff that you love.
Do you know what?
You can't find
if you love
everything.
It, buy it.
You can't find everything on streaming service, and you can't, even if you buy it and add it to a digital thing,
it might go away one day.
It might go away one day. It might get lost, or you can't actually technically hand that down. There was something to do with Bruce Willis wanting to hand down his
iTunes account.
His iTunes account to his kids because of all the music he bought on that. And legally, you can't.
Physically bought. Yeah, legally, he's not allowed.
Not allowed to. So it's like, all that's just lost. Like, you can't hand it over to a next generation. So, and also, you do often find sometimes. I know, like I said, I'm trying to get rid of these, but the other day we randomly watched War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise one. Cause Amelia wanted to watch something that was a bit sci-fi,
not on anything else
horror.
to stream, is it?
Not without buying it. So already got it.
Not without paying for it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't mind that film either.
I've got that on vinyl.
I think there's maybe an untapped market.
I've got it on
vinyl. Pip's got her dad's vinyl, and there's an original 1970s pressing of War of the Worlds in there.
Oh, nice.
And it's got that smell of the 70s as well.
I've got it downstairs that my stepdad gave me. I'll show you. I'll fucking, you can have it.
We've got it, man.
All right.
I'm saying she's got it.
I was going to try and get when we redid our kitchen and everything on these three, I was thinking about trying to get a vinyl set because my dad's got loads. I only find that my brother had already pillaged loads of all the good ones.
I've got an album. I've got a Depeche Mode album downstairs from the 80s, and it's got a receipt in it from my stepdad from Wimpy from 1986. Let's go. And it's like chips, 42 pence, egg, 7 pence. I'm like, wow, I kept that receipt still. It's mega. I'm conscious of time, Gadget. I'm conscious of time. Have you got anything quickly?
Yeah,
we've gone past this 2-hour threshold because we've got a guest and we're excited.
So this is going to be up Rob's alley because I'm sticking with music here. I want to take you back to the haughty year of 1949.
I remember it well.
Oh yeah, the world was in a
we'd won the war.
Yeah, the world was in a post-war glow. The baby boomers hadn't been boomed yet. It was a time of financial recovery, but things were getting better.
And the glow was the fallout from the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, mate. That's
yeah, ever present. But rock and roll was on the horizon. It wasn't quite there yet. Rhythm and blues was there. The proper, not the fucking R&B that you see now. I mean, rhythm and blues was there. Yeah. Elvis hadn't quite become hadn't been discovered yet. Jimi Hendrix wasn't even. I don't think he was even. No, he had been born by that point, but still, he was a nipper. But there was a man named Leo Fender.
Yeah.
Who created the very first.
Very special, didn't he?
He did something very special because you see, pre-1949, there hadn't been many electric guitars. And the few that had existed had been people taking their acoustic guitars and sticking in a pickup from a lap steel guitar to make it a bit louder to play bigger and bigger shows. But the problem with doing that is acoustic guitars are notoriously microphonic, and they would feed back like a bastard when you put them on stage in front of an amplifier.
Yep.
What Leo Fender did, the clever bastard, was created the world's first mass-produced electric solid body guitar, because in 1949 he released the Fender Esquire, which would then be modified over the years to become the Fender Telecaster.
I love a telly. I love them.
I love a telly.
I still think they've got a lovely body.
They do. They're really lovely.
I think they're better looking than
fun.
Strats.
They're fun to play. They have a wonderful sound. But the point is, 1949 and into 1950 was where things changed. Because Leo Fender created this instrument that was, one, not wildly expensive.
Yeah.
They were cheaper than a Gibson acoustic guitar. They could be plugged into any amplifier, so any PA system, and they would make a sound. And it meant you could be amplified on stage. Because the thing is with guitars, when you wanted to get into kind of more into jazz or into rock and roll or rhythm and blues or whatever, acoustic guitars would get drowned out by every other instrument. Acoustic guitars sound great. They're wonderful instruments.
Especially the drums there.
Yeah. Drums drown everything out, because if you've ever been around someone playing a drum kit, they are obscenely loud.
They think they're the lead singer, don't they?
They're absurdly loud. To be fair, they have every right to be. You know, they need to keep time. The whole band needs to hear them, but the problem is it would drown the
Drummers
guitar.
are insane, though. Come on.
Absolutely. I've never met a normal drummer.
Neither have I.
The Fender Esquire was the first commercially available electric guitar, and that changed music.
Did.
You can hear it on early Johnny Cash records. His lead guitarist just nipping away on a couple of chords, while Johnny Cash would play like the big open sounding chords. But you get the rhythm from that Fender Esquire or the Fender Telecaster. The Esquire was highly modified early on. So the Esquire came out, had a single pickup. It was a solid swamp ash body with a swamp ash and pine body with a maple neck. It was simple as they come. It had two pickups. It had two knobs and a connector jack to go into it. That was it. And you made a raucous sound out of it. If you
just volume and gain, then is that all it had on it?
Just volume and tone.
Tone. Oh, a tone.
If you wanted to change the sound, you just moved where you played it. You play the pick closer to the bridge, and it makes a tighter noise. If you play it close to the neck, it makes a deeper noise. That's literally the only options that you had on that guitar.
It's wild.
And over the years, the shape stayed the same, but the guitar evolved. They added more pickups to it. It became the broadcaster. The broadcaster then became the no-caster. Then it became the Telecaster. Then Leo Fender kind of scooped out the top and created an upper horn so that players could have access to the top frets better. And it became the Stratocaster. And then everything exploded from there. Around the same time, Les Paul invented the Les Paul with Gibson.
Yeah.
Because people seem to forget, it's named after a person. It's not just a Gibson Les Paul for the sake of it.
Imagine being that influential in life that you could name a product after yourself. That'd be so cool. To die knowing that something's named after you.
Oh yeah, that guy died at 94 or something years old, and knowing that guitar has become a legend status.
Knowing that Slash was on top of a fucking coffin playing it.
piano, get it right. He was on top of a grand piano.
That's whatever. You know what I mean. But it's just mad, isn't it?
The thing is, all of this. I mean, like you say, people had made electric guitars before this. I think the first recorded one was in 1936. But this was the first mass-produced one that could get to the market, that anybody could buy. It's also
it did help. It did help with like you said, with blues, and especially in the deep South America where they had no money. Yeah, they could still pick one up and still keep it going. Like
the Telecaster, because not much has changed on the design over the years. It's still the sound of country and blues music.
Yeah.
Like I play blues and light stuff on my Telecaster. I'm a metal player, but I play it on my Telecaster. Yeah. I play that stuff on my Telecaster because it sounds so fucking good on it. Also, at the time, they made it cheaper. So the way guitars had been built before that, they featured kind of glued-in set necks. There was a lot more intricacy to it. Telecaster is simple. It's a slab of wood with a neck bolted onto it. Bolt-on necks didn't really exist with guitars before this. And it meant they could make them faster and put them out there. But also, you broke the neck, you just fucking unscrew it and put a new one on.
Get a new one.
Yeah, they became infinitely more repairable, infinitely more customizable. People could put their stamp on it. And you look at music from the 50s and the 60s, go back to the early Yardbird stuff, or even the first Led Zeppelin record. They're playing Telecasters on that. They're playing the descendants of that Esquire. Leo Fender changed the fucking game because he made electric guitars available for everybody. And music wouldn't be the same without it. Someone would have done it at some point, but
I watched a documentary about 3 weeks ago about Fender, and in the 1960s, for a brief moment in time, Fender guitar, I think it was probably the Telly by that point, wasn't it? No, the Strat.
The Strat was out in the 60s.
What one of them was the most stolen item on the planet for a brief moment in time because people used to just go in and nick them.
Yeah, that would have been Fender Strats.
Yeah, for one, like, and then after that, since then, the record of the most stolen items, the Rubik's Cube, believe it or not, the most stolen item in the world, a recorded stolen item. Yeah, the Rubik's Cube. People kept nicking them. I was watching it on a YouTube the other week. It's probably more than that. It's probably money now, isn't it? Most stolen item. Souls.
The other thing when it comes to like the electric guitar, when you can actually plug that in and you know you're going to get a stable sound from it, that then promotes like it changes the dynamics of the instrument.
Well.
So then the player can just go off, and the boundaries that he can take that are so vaster than
even using feedback into the
guitar.
Feedback from the amp into the music and stuff like that. It's crazy. Love it.
Yeah, and so whether you want to talk about Clapton and Jeff Beck and the Yardbirds or Hendrix or what's the name, Greenwood from Radiohead, now you wouldn't have that had it all falls back to the same space, if that makes sense.
So just for comparison, and this is as an example, a 1949 Fender Broadcaster or Esquire prototype. So this is before it hit mass production. Yep. One of them sold recently at I think Christie's for $375,000.
That's that daft auction that they're doing, isn't it? That's silly money auction.
Yeah, but like that's how influential. Like people are willing to pay that much. I mean, obviously it's not a celebrity one. Like
yeah, it's just one, isn't it? It's just one that's existed.
Yeah, like Dave Gilmour's Black Strat went for millions.
Highest instrument ever sold.
The fact that a kind of factory prototype can go for $375,000 shows how historic this is. And
that's more than some cars.
Yeah,
some historic
cars. Yeah. But yeah, like I love my Telecaster. It's one of my favorite guitars. They're beautiful instruments. And I've got
what color? Because it's a bit weird with it. Is it sunburst? No, it's not. Is it orange?
No, it's like blood orange.
Orange, is it?
Yeah, lovely. Very 70s.
Can't tell with camera.
Yeah, mine's a 70s custom style guitar, and it's got a 70s look to it. But yeah,
the only guitar I've got, I stole off a homeless man. So there you go.
See, stolen guitars.
Stolen guitars, most stolen thing.
I mean,
excellent.
I mean, like I say, I love that Telecaster. It's not my favorite guitar ever. I mean, I've got my Les Paul behind me somewhere, but I've got a Strat, I've got a Telecaster, and it's just like all these classic guitars are just it's what made music. I think that's
my favorite's Schecter, but wouldn't have Schecter without that.
Well, your favorite Schecter is just because they did the custom work for Prince.
Shut up. It's still. I still want that sperm guitar that he had.
I know you do.
I can't. Oh, fucking come on. But yes, have we got any feedback at all?
We do. We have a few of them. Starting off with Enflem. He says the invention of the mouse, and I'm not talking about the little squeaky one with 4 legs and a tail.
Yeah, that was evolution, pal. No one invented that.
So you want to thank IBM probably for that because they had the original idea, but Steve Jobs stole it and put it on the Apple Macintosh.
Really? Is that what happened?
Yeah, he went on a tour of the IBM offices. Saw
I'm having that.
Yeah, so a graphical user interface using a mouse. He's like, hell, I'm going to put that on the Mac.
Love it. I love old-fashioned mice. I think they look incredible, mate.
It's the Amiga mouse for me with those two big
buttons. The two buttons, yeah. I love it. It's fucking stunning, man. It's like, I just want to click you all day.
Ooh, click. Satisfying micro switch action.
Oh, yeah.
The ambassador for Northern France, Biggie, has said, I hope the news this week was delivered with aplomb.
I think it was my favourite ever news.
Was it, Candy?
I've read on this podcast.
Was there a plum in your news, Candy?
Yes.
I did say that as well.
Yeah,
I did say it.
Yeah.
So
it's official.
Best news ever.
I don't think Biggie understood the assignment.
Why? What's he done now?
I don't
Is
think
he
so.
saying, I liked it when
Do
the
you know what?
locomotive was invented.
No, do you know what? Like, I actually thought about this when Rob was talking about his thing. I thought, I don't think I've done it right here either, because I just kept talking about different moments from Nintendo rather than a specific moment. But I'd like to hear what
Don't
Biggie's.
It's our
So-
podcast. We can do what we
Saying I
want.
got it right, so I win.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
He's big as the wheel.
So Biggie says, it's this first sentence. Oodles, you might actually fall asleep on this one.
Oh, God.
My choice for this week's topic is upgradable hard drives.
Oh, for fuck's Okay, now. Oh, my God. Upgradable hard drives. That's his moment in history.
It's only because he fucking won one this week.
What a fucking kid.
So
That was the moment in history. The one that changed everything. When we could upgrade our hard drives.
So he says, I like having choices of games that I want to play as and when without having to uninstall and install all of the time. The laughable hard disk space that you get with your standard console means the operating system takes up loads of gigabytes before you even get started. Games are now launching with sizes of 150 gigs, so it's pretty much essential in my opinion.
What a moment in history.
He hasn't understood the assignment.
Before then, the nation mourned for upgradable fucking hard drives. That is ridiculous. I mean, before then, Biggie, we had physical media. That's how you did it. You just put a new one on.
I love you, Biggie. I love
him to bits. He is the most beautiful mind I've ever met in my life. But fucking hell, mate. Oh. I love him. I miss him so much.
I was half expecting him to say something like, that time when Tunnock's tea cakes won the war for us or something. Shit like that. But moving on, Lee Davies has said, that time Lenny Kravitz's cock popped out on stage. Nothing will ever be the same again.
Massive.
That was funny. It is massive as well, yeah.
It is massive as well. Massive moment in history, massive cock. I agree. That was a fucking big dick.
Pete Beckett has said Sony coming out and boldly declaring the PS1 would be $299 was pure savage and set them up as the one to watch for that generation.
That's like I said, it started with the attitude, and the attitude's changed nowadays. You can't say they've got that same attitude. Now it's just money. It's a different attitude now. It's awful, but I miss those days. They're almost punk. They're almost quite punk, Sony, when they first came out.
I was thinking about when you were talking about it earlier, Riddles, like the design. If you look at the design of the PS1 versus the PS5, like the PS1 is like this kind of weird grey, kind of janky, like they threw it together in a shed kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the PS5 is like super sleek sci-fi corporatized.
It's like something from the future, isn't it? And it's like, all we care about is your money.
Well, no one's going to pull a PS5 out of their jacket, are they, to be fair?
No.
But
and they're not going to go $2.99 either, are they?
Oh, no.
They're going to go $5.99.
But the soliloquy I was going to go down with is like think of it like the PS1 is Bill and Ted, and the PS5 is when they go to the future.
When they go to where Rufus is from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. Zenos said, I don't know what to suggest this week. There's a lot of options, but I guess the invention of the microchip and the proliferation of the internet. Those are probably the biggest two. Fair call.
Nowhere near as big as the upgradable hard drives.
No, upgradable hard drives.
Nowhere near as big.
Lenny Kravitz's cock.
I think those two are tied for the most massive.
Huge.
Fucking Biggie.
Oh, it's so funny.
Last up, we have Nimrod Hicks. I did have a think, but I couldn't think of much. I guess the proliferation of mobile phones was transformative in my lifetime, and the internet.
Yeah. The internet was pretty fucking special, because without that, we wouldn't be here talking to you and wasting your time.
And Biggie wouldn't
Is
have won
that all
his.
the feedback?
Biggie wouldn't have won his extendable hard drive without the internet.
That's honestly the best thing I've read this year.
Just in terms of phones in society, could an argument be made that like the worst moment is when they put the selfie camera on the iPhone?
Pretty bad, wasn't it? Pretty bad moment, because
Actually, until then, cameras looked outwards, and now all of a sudden cameras are,
that was the death of privacy.
No, is that the rise of the birth of narcissism?
Oh,
I don't know.
I think that was in the
I quite like
ancient
being
Greeks. That
like being able to take a selfie, like where you can see.
Yeah,
like,
you do.
Rather than just going like with an old disposable, you'd be like hold out in front, take a picture, and hope for the best. And now, like if you want to take a
and it was
picture of
just
your
like
kids
your
or somewhere,
forehead.
you just kind of like hold it out. Like here's
you know,
us two doing something.
You remember on your feature phones before they had selfie cameras, you have like this tiny little mirror on the back of them next to the camera.
Does no one remember trusting a stranger with your camera to take a picture of you?
Fuck that. We've all got like expensive Samsungs. If you give that to a stranger, that's 1,500 quid in their fucking hand, and they're just going to run off with it.
I was going to say, I remember trusting a stranger with a camera once, and he ran off with it. The cunt.
Yeah, exactly.
Never again.
Fuck that. Imagine giving your fucking S23 Ultra to a stranger. Will you just take a picture, mate? I've unlocked it. Don't worry, I've unlocked it for you, pal. Take a photo. See ya, muggins. Fuck that. Jesus.
Give it
Is
to an
that
old lady,
the
it'd be
feedback?
fine.
Yeah, that's all the feedback.
But the picture wouldn't be very good.
Excellent. So before we say goodbye to Rob, as always, links to all our extracurricular activities are in our show notes and at modernescapism.co.uk. And please find it within your hearts to try out our Patreon. Like I say, even if it's just for a month, it's cheap, and this huge back catalogue of stuff, all this nonsense, and Biggie in his mind. He's not here tonight, but
And his upgradable hard drives.
And his upgradable hard drive. So, yeah, next week it's Patron's Choice, where you will be given the choice to be producers for the episode. Remember, it's non-fiction, so look forward to the list that what's it called?
Poll that goes up on Patreon.
The poll that goes on Patreon. But Rob, thank you for being our honoured guest this evening. And before you leave, plug away. Plug.
First of all, thank you very much for having me. I had a wonderful time on Twitter yesterday with Gadget, so it was nice to finally put a face to the name.
He's gorgeous, isn't he? He's gorgeous.
But yeah, if you're interested, it's recordsandbands.com or losthikerrecords.com. So that'll do. Thank you very much.
Yes, and thank you very much. We should be seeing you in the future. And
don't forget
on your podcast, mate. I want to get on that podcast.
Don't forget,
that
Rob was on Deep Dive Lounge. Get on that episode if you've not listened to it. It's very good.
It was fantastic. Oh,
someone's
like
on
I say,
message.
He's the new husband of indie podcasting. He's a great guy, and we all love you. But
also make sure you go and listen to his episode of that F-King show as well, because
because
you just start crying like I did.
And he cry on the bus.
I cried as well, but in a good way.
Oh yeah, in a good way. It's a very good episode.
Well, enough of this. You're making me blush. Thank you very much for making me blush. So,
yes. If you're not a patron, this is the end of the show. And it's the end of the show for Rob. We'll see you in the green room after if you are a patron. Thank you very much. Good night.
Bye.
Cheers.
I'm not hungover. It's weird. It's weird not being on this show and not being fucking like that.
I had an afternoon hangover yesterday. It was horrible.
That's because you got pissed on fizzy wine and fell asleep through the coronation.
I was shit-faced by 11.